everybody, welcome back for another week of A House Divided, played by the wonderful people here at Polyhedra. Thank you all for checking in for another week. It has been great coming back after the new year, and though the times are rather turbulent for the general tabletop community, there's a lot of wonderful things going on that I personally am just so excited about. And we just as a team at Polyhedra, we're a bunch of professional DMs doing fancy things and whatnot. But one of the exciting things that we talked about last Saturday, because we could have talked about a lot of stuff, right? We could have talked about, oh no, OGL, blah, 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 whatever else. But if anything, I just wanted to reassure all of you, this is Pandora's box. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that has come out of it. Most of all, reaction videos on YouTube and clickbaity. No, you don't have to worry about legal implications at all. Don't trust those videos. But of course, there's also a lot of awesome stuff that comes out of it, which of course, most importantly, more than anything else, this is a second renaissance to the tabletop community. If you have fallen in love with 5th edition because it was your first, that's totally fine. It's like your high school sweetheart. They were nice, they were there, they taught you how to love. But guess what? There's so many more systems in the sea. Listen, my analogies are bad. You know my analogies are bad, okay? You still come back for some reason. But anyway, jokes aside, I am excited because they're fantastic systems. Whether it is, Clancy grew up on GURPS, for example, which, by the way, they kind of like low-key announced there's going to be a new edition, apparently. Okay, Steve Jackson Games. Beyond that, there's of course Pathfinder. There are games like Forbidden Lands and Tales from the Loop, which literally has written in the core elements you cannot die. So I'm probably going to hear from a couple players in this very games like, hey David, can we have a Tales from the Loop game next? Which is totally fair. Or I could do Symbaroum, which is the same company but hardcore dark fantasy, grim dark fantasy. No, we're not going to go that dark. In any case, I just wanted to let you all know the team has agreed. Together, we all support third-party content creators, no matter what. We believe that Wizards wouldn't be as popular, or I should say D&D wouldn't be as popular today as it is without those third-party content creators. But at the end, remember, and I think I said that last week as well, Wizards of the Coast is not D&D. We, the community, are D&D. And it doesn't matter if you play a different game. It's only important that you still play with your friends and you're still having fun. Whatever the rules say. Maybe you could even switch to something a little bit more rules light so David can go, actually, the only way you can take an attack of opportunity, right? Lean into that. Maybe you can talk your GM into something, or you can play Pathfinder where it's like, actually, there's 17 attacks of opportunity attacks. Wait, it's opportunity attacks in D&D 5th edition. It's an attack of opportunity in Pathfinder. Y'all, I've been reading the book and like marking it. I've been marking up my book, my Pathfinder core rule book, just marking it up. Was that you the other day who said like it pisses you off when people marking their books?
Yeah, you're dead to me.
That's cool. And your character, anyway, jokes aside. So as we're getting in tonight, all I wanted to say is the takeaways from our meeting. Polyhedra, 1, we're so excited to keep working on ourselves. We have a wonderful anonymous feedback form that Jason will totally paste it to the stream chat for me, and he was 100% prepared, and I gave him a heads up that that was going to happen. So thank you, Jason. Thank you. We run like a smooth machine here at Polyhedra.
Aw, yeah.
That aside, we are also going to offer a bunch of free one-shots. There's going to be at least one free one-shot in the community every month, and I'm going to personally focus on switching up the systems. I'm going to do a PF2E, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, introductory one-shot here coming up, and I want to... excuse me, switch it up. I want to have everything from Tales from the Loop to, like I said, Forbidden Lands, whatever else, just to get people to be able to test out some other stuff. And thank you so much for all of those subscriptions. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so this is going to be exciting. And look out for new campaigns that will be posted in different systems. We are starting our first Cypher game. Game Master Ken is going to do that. And Cypher actually is super exciting. Tyler, you ended up playing in that one-shot he did for the community, right? What did you think?
It was very fun, and it cuts a lot of the dice rolly aspect out of stuff, so you can focus more on the actual story and like your actual character and doing what they want to do and the role play. Like there's still combat and there's still dice rolls, but it is like super simplified, but in a really good streamlined way.
It focuses on the fun, which I kind of listened in, and it was really awesome to have that. And Jason coming in hot with the 4. Thank you so much for that. Any case, that is it.
And I think he's doing another one-shot in February, just by the way.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be around the 14th. No, not the 14th. The 12th. The 12th of February. So be looking out for that. Also, we have some other people in the community who are doing. There's another Pathfinder one-shot already posted. So check out the events channel. If you're in the Discord already, check out the events channel. If you are not in the events channel because you're not on the Discord server, head on over to polyhedra.io. Which way do I have to point? I think I have to. I'm really good at technology. Go down there, polyhedra.io, the website, and you will see schedule a chat. You'll be able to chat with either Jason or myself in order to get into the community because we vet our players just as much as our GMs to make sure it's a good time, it's a good table. In any case, that's enough hoopla I can do. I can only delay the inevitable for these poor characters. Look at that little health. Look at that little health bar of both Brock and Marcus. Yes, so cute. Anyway, do you guys have anything before we delve back in? And Damon will reach through the screen and strangle me IRL. Hearing nothing.
Hello.
Welcome.
You're not going to tell them about the drinking game? I'm sorry.
It's a secret. We want to. They're going to maybe be a little bit toasted by
community participation. Community participation.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever there's anything copyrighted by Wizards of the Coast, trademark, we might have to.
Every time David says trademark, you have to take a drink.
I'll copyright. But when I just say copyright for the sake of saying copyright, that doesn't count. Otherwise, you will die. All right, cool. With that, let's delve back in.
That seemed like an important part that I didn't understand.
I don't think that's how drinking games work. I don't think there's rules like that in drinking games.
This is the
I was like a fine print.
The exception proves the rule, people. Okay, so as we're delving back in, previously on A House Divided, a wonderful module that is brought to us by Foundry VTT, you had traveled to the Raven Tree Manor. The Raven Tree Manor is, of course, a house that has been derelict for 2 decades now. The estates around it are massive. There is a title associated with it, and the crown, a religious, well, let's say kingdom that lays domain or claims domain over this abandoned building, has made it available to the first adventuring group or adventurer that is able to clear out whatever weird curse-like thing seems to be hanging still over the house. Now, Brockton, of course, is the prodigal son who had come from this long line of sorcerer's blood merchants that had made a name for themselves, grew in, well, regard and actual esteem within the crown's nobility. But that all went away 2 decades ago. As you search through more of the rooms of the first floor of the house, you found the gallery and private collection of your grandfather, Brockton. You found a page that was torn out of some kind of a book to do with planar travel, and within that, you seem to be able to find at least some kind of a plan. It seemed that your grandfather had been working on a way to maybe cross the planes, connect the planes, or use the conjunction between them for something. You're not quite sure, but you did find a massive shattered mirror that apparently at one point had the capability to enable planar travel, though at the present point it seems extremely destroyed. The glass shards shattered across the gallery itself. You quickly figured, or at least theorized, that maybe this had something to do with the weird mirror monster you fought on the topmost level. You moved on and found an old abandoned workshop within which a bunch of old but very nice furniture as well as clothing belonging to some kind of female nobility had been left behind. Of course, Marcus, whom we now know carries a little bit of a shape-shifting kind of secret, quickly snatched one of the beautiful noble dresses and pocketed it. Sebastian and Celine, of course, had a lot of head-to-head communication. You know, it was about a third of the session. Don't worry about it. Just go watch the session again. And then we went into the library. In the library, you found not only the rest of the tome that was written by some raving lunatic who wrote more in prose than in actual directions that you would be used to from a wizard, but you also found a bunch of books that apparently came to life and tried to pummel you to death. Most of all, poor little Marcus. However, we left off after you had found a secret door that led into a staircase leading upwards to the second level of the house, and what seemed to be a nice display case, magically reinforced, and apparently built in order to, let's just say, keep something special hidden inside. You saw that there was a triplet of magical scrolls underneath this glass. You cleaned it up somewhat, and then Brockton, you with your abilities of, let's just say, entering houses that you sometimes might not be, that you're not supposed to be entering, found yourself in front of this staircase. And in front of the staircase, display case, we're picking it up for today. Is there anything that I didn't mention that you guys would like to throw out? All right, this character's death is brought to you by Foundry VTT. Trademark. All right, Brock, as you opened the thing, and a little bit of that air, because there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect, repressurization from the display case to the, the area around it, and as that releases, you just like immediately, shit! But it just smells like old, musty library. As you lift the display case up and backwards, it seems that you are all right.
Are the contents of the case reacting to the air change in any way?
You look upon them, and you can see that indeed, immediately a little bit of grime and dust seems to kind of settle into this area that otherwise had been pristine with the nice bedding that, so to speak, it had been laying upon. But something that you even know, though you don't have any magical talent yourself, these are magical scrolls. The magic that was used to scribe them in the first place, the nice inks, etc., they ultimately made these scrolls incredibly impervious to the passage of time. They seem fine.
All right then.
Well, that was exciting. Nothing exploded.
I think what's in here is probably of more use to, well, probably just about everybody here except myself and Henry. Looks like some magically
I could use them if I
scrolls.
need.
Really?
Of course you could.
No, probably not. No, it's fine.
I mean, I guess you could always use them to wipe your lunch off your face, but
Wow. Well, hey, I am very good at brewing potions. Okay, all right. Next potion I brew. No sample, no free samples.
anyway, it looks like magical scrolls. If any of you magical types want to take a closer look.
Well, if you insist, all right. And I'll walk over there. Oh, do you have it in your hands? Oh yeah, are you right next to me? Yeah, you are.
Oh no, I didn't take them out. I left them for somebody with more hit points to trip any potential traps.
I'll just greedily grab both of them.
There's a meta vulture that just kind of flies through the library.
That was something. That was incredible. Now what? Lacey! Do you want to take a closer look? Do you want to look a little bit more? You're better at
I'm
this
going
thing than I am.
Peek around the corner, making sure there's no danger. Do you have them in your hands?
Yeah, I grab them.
Yeah, just toss it this way.
All right.
Brockton, you watch as the twins toss hundreds of gold worth of magical spell scrolls through the air as they kind of go tumbling, unscrolling a little bit in the process. Aline, go to make me just a dex check, just a flat dexterity, just to see, you know.
Explosion.
Oh boy.
And Brockton, something
So real
snaps
strength.
inside of you. Propriety, years of doing things just perfectly in the boarding school, as she just kind of tries to grab them all, just like, oh yeah, it's like, you see the parchment just kind of fold in on itself, and Bryn, a single tear just kind of starts to form on the side of your eye, and you kind of like force it back into your eyeball, watching her handle these incredible magical scrolls incredibly violently. One of them tumbles upon the ground and kind of like half unrolls. Celine, you hold them and they seem to be pretty legit.
I just, like, one of them lands on the train of my dress and I, like, kick it off. All right, I'll just take a look at them. I'll open one up. Sure.
You open one up. Bryn, Sebastian, Henry, Marcus, Brockton. Do you guys do anything during this? Do you pick up one of them to look at? What do the other 5 do?
I probably grab whichever one she dropped on the ground.
And kicked. It's all right. We handle this thing all the time. We're experts, basically.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And
You're in
what?
good hands. You're in good
While
hands.
they're trying to figure this stuff out, I would like to rummage through the rubble a little bit.
All
See
right.
if anything jumps out at me as a...
We'll say during this time. So I'll say that, why don't Bryn and Celine, both of you guys make me an Arcana check. During this time, Henry, you end up approaching Brockton with this nice little letter opener that you had found upon this little table there. And as you look upon it, you kind of like have it balanced on your hand. You're like, this is actually incredibly well balanced. And you walk it over to Brockton. Brockton, you look upon this and it's interesting. It appears that, well, I mean, you have seen your fair share of weaponry now. You recognize this immediately as something that serves a dual purpose, something that you can sneak into certain places without making too much of a ruckus, yet at the same time, that weapon has etchings, small magical runes that are incredibly small. You know, I'm talking like 3-point font, all along the edge of the blade. Silvered as it is, this is actually a not insignificant magical weapon.
Where'd you find this?
I think it was in the chair. It was somewhere in this room. We'll just call it in the house. Pretty sure it is here.
I got a cool book. Did we mention the cool book that I got that definitely didn't cause all of the chaos that happened in the library? I forgot about that book.
You know, these scrolls make no sense to me.
I just grabbed the other one out of her hands.
But
Do you let him have it, or do you kind of like hold on to it?
no, I let him have it. They mean nothing to me. My magic is inherent. I don't have to learn it.
Them meaning nothing to
Words
you is
and-
believable.
Books and
Ooh.
nonsense.
Bryn, you take the scrolls, you kind of take one of the chairs that had been kicked over during your encounter, and you lay them out before you. All sprawled out, you actually can see that each one of these has a higher echelon than the one that came before it. You see one of the 3rd echelon, one of the 4th echelon, and one of the 5th echelon in the complexity that they present before you. Now, a lot of the stuff that you learned through your own studies, autodidactically, and as you look upon this, it is interesting, for the first scroll describes the ritual of drawing and creating a magic circle. It has instructions on turning it outward facing and inward facing. So it seems to almost describe a way to not only protect yourself against entities that might be of an extraplanar nature, but even trapping one within the circle. Interesting. You kind of file that away with this incredibly keen mind, your intellectual fortress of your mind match and kind of expanding, filing that next to this book on the plains. You take up the 2nd scroll, and this one you have heard about many a time, for it can be used offensively and defensively quite well. For the 2nd scroll is a scroll of banishment. A spell that is capable to shunt anything back into the original plane from whence it came, so long as you can maintain concentration upon such an incantation for long enough. The last scroll. Well, the last scroll is something that is interesting, significantly more powerful than anything you have cast before. For this is a way to bind. an extraplanar being into whatever plane you happen to be currently on, to bind it to your will and make it do your bidding, if only you can keep it contained for long enough. And Bryn, in your mind, you suddenly see a story come to be. You realize that Navarro's had been collecting these spells. This tells a story of creating a magic circle, somehow summoning something into that, having a backup of banishment if you need it, and then use a planar binding to get this creature on your side, even if it's for a short time, to do your bidding. What had he been doing with extraplanar beings? This is something that the elves practiced for a long time, something that the crown called unsavory, primal, bestial. And here is a human. And you can almost not help it as you kind of glance over to Brockton, who's currently balancing that silvered letter opener on his finger. What secrets does this family have? What is going through your head?
Pretty much the reason that the crown called magic like this bestial and primal is because they were bad at it, which means that whoever was doing stuff like this probably messed up somewhere. And maybe that's what was the catalyst for whatever happened here. No shade, no blame on Brock's family, but, you know, some magics just, if you can't do them, you can't do them. It's just how it is.
Make me a stealth check as part of that.
Yeah.
The glowering gaze is so deep and so spitefully directed at you in that moment, Brock. You can feel the gaze burning against your skin, and for a second you match eye contact with Bryn. Bryn, do you look away at that moment, or do you maintain?
Oh, no, I absolutely am like, what?
Brock, as Bryn is going through the spells and you kind of sift through the rest of the rummage through the rest of this stuff, you don't seem to find anything else that might be of use, anything that is, you know, something that you could maybe utilize within the realm of trying to clear this house. No mementos, nothing else. Most of the pages are shriveled up and gone. The books, the spines have kind of like bent in on themselves backwards from the actual the contents of the books themselves. And then you feel this burning as you kind of like playing around with the silver letter opener, almost without thinking. What is going through your head as you catch Bryn's gaze?
Do you know something?
I'm evil. No.
Well, you do play with corpses.
Please don't phrase it like that ever again. No, I mean, it just seems like I'm not trying to blame anyone. We're not playing the blame game here. But the magic in these scrolls is, you know, magic that not everyone should mess with.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree, and I don't even know what's in these scrolls.
It's mainly planar magic. One is to banish a being, one is to protect yourself or trap a being, and one is to basically subject them to servitude for you. But, you know, extraplanar beings, not always the most friendly or agreeable.
You were trying to bring your wife back. What being would you conjure? What extraplanar being would you try to bring to your will?
A devil?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Which one is the bad one at making sure souls get to where they go? Isn't that the Raven Queen?
The bad one.
Silly,
You obviously know nothing.
silly little wizard. No, seriously though.
I mean, if I was to summon a deity or a being or an extraplanar, what have you, it would need to be a strong one. So, if we're talking good deities, there's obviously the gods, the pantheon, maybe something from the Feywild. They're usually really all gung-ho about making deals with people. If we're not on the good side, definitely a devil. That would be a good guess. Devils are tricksy. Lords of Hell sometimes will, sell your soul for something. I guess it really depends on how badly you want whatever you're trying to get, and the best way you think would be to get that.
Oh, well.
Well,
In
we
any
already
case-
know that. Sorry.
Oh no, I was really just talking to talk. So nobody else was,
We
It's
already
kind
know
of-
that someone was working on planar portals, so none of this is really surprising. This seems like it's mostly either in the case of a mistake or in the interest of capturing what you pulled through. Seems to line up, and I definitely agree. Not everyone should play with this.
Agreed.
Go ahead and tuck these
The fact
away
that
into
it's-
my bag.
The fact that it was here and locked up in the library in an open case makes me think that it was grandfather's and not my uncle's, though.
Hmm.
Oh, true, because this is it was on display, right?
Mm-hmm. At least to some extent.
Also, did you guys just open that display case without seeing if it was magic? I have magic that can dispel bad magic. Please ask me next time.
Be
I-
boring.
Didn't notice anything that made me concerned.
Marcus,
But
darling,
frankly,
how
I-
are you feeling? Are you bleeding out? How are you doing over there?
Are you dead? Are you dead yet?
Instantly casting prestidigitation. No, I'm fine. The damn wound won't close. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
How's the
Oh.
gaping wound across your body? How's
Imagine it's just like tons of paper cuts, just like a nice big shiner from one of the books just slapping him in the face.
Unlike me to care about anyone else, but I was very bored with this conversation here, so I think maybe we should go get you patched up somehow.
Yeah.
Certainly would appreciate it, but I also understand the curiosity of this house might come at a higher priority.
well, if you die, it's gonna be a real bummer.
That is true. It would be very sad.
I
Are we
do
gonna
think
go
you're the only one of us
rest?
that has a healing spell, so I do think that would be not good for any of us.
Call
Yeah.
back. Bummer callback.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Trademark
Australia.
Marissa.
Well, Marcus, does it hurt to walk? Do Are you in pain when your feet touch the ground?
I'm getting a bit sore, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Oh,
Unless,
all right.
I mean, do you have like a cane or something?
Oh, no, I have something better, darling. What do you think I am? And I'm gonna poke him and cast fly on him.
Does it hurt if I poke you right here and I just poke you in one of your pets?
Ow!
And with that, you
Did
begin
you
to
did you clean
fly.
your fingers when you decide to poke a gaping wound? I don't know if you necromancers touch corpses and then don't wash their hands. Am I going to get an infection?
I mean, you don't really have to sanitize your hands if you're dealing with dead stuff. What are they gonna do? Get infected and die?
No, never mind. You know what? It's not my issue.
So that would be a no on the washing hands part.
Disgusting.
That's a definite no.
Disgusting.
What are they gonna do?
Oh.
Die again?
I don't want to die. You shouldn't want to die.
It's gangrene, I believe is what they call it.
My fingertips are
Yes,
just like
it is.
black.
I originally thought it was from the ink, but now, mm-mm.
You know, now I'm more intrigued.
Is there a poison image now, or?
So we're really going to go all the way into town. How far is it into town?
It will take you probably at least an hour to get back there. As far as, things to accomplish that you could maybe attempt before you leave, you do know that there is a room to your north that you have not explored, and then the northeastern part of the first floor that you haven't been into yet. But other than that, second floor,
Well,
third floor.
You
I
know,
think
this
Marcus
is
needs rest.
That's true. And just a note, Brockton, really, from the peanut gallery, but maybe we should bring a healing potion with us the next time we decide we want to investigate a haunted house.
That would
Yeah,
be wise.
that was no, we all overlooked that one. I'm just saying it out loud. We all should have really thought about that.
I could see if I could make some if we go into town, right? To be,
Everybody raise your hand if you have enough money to buy a healing potion.
Depends largely on what they sell for, but I don't have much cash on me.
Yes,
No, I
my
don't even know.
supplies have been running a bit low for cash.
I travel light, so I have nothing.
Right, so we're all poor.
After you-
All right.
We all so fancy. Well, most of us. And yet we're just dirt poor.
It's
Money is
because
an
we're
interesting
not good
concept.
with spending. We
Yes.
look fancy because we spend all of our money.
That's
Right,
it, exactly.
yeah.
It's the first
And
intelligence
fight
you've
monsters if
said
you ain't cute.
right.
This isn't
All right.
401k times. Those don't exist yet. We
Back
don't know how
to
to
town
save
then.
money.
I will simply stay back if you all would like to explore more.
Mm,
We're not leaving
Oh,
you.
Yes.
what's to,
Oh, no,
what's to
I'll just
stop
take a
that?
little bit back.
Ah,
There was this woman. I thought it was a man, but it's a woman. I'm actually not sure. It was something. Teeth were honestly just no dental care entire life. Very hard to get past the teeth. But I do recall her saying something about wolves. I think she was talking about a dog of something.
Ooh.
Something about feeding a dog. Sort of puppy chat. I don't know. Anyways, I think she was talking about them being in the woods. I'm pretty sure she was trying to warn me against the woods. Just by the by. Might be dangerous out there.
Wait.
Brooke, is there any places here that would be safe to stay in, like a
within
guest
the
quarters,
house.
safe room? Like rich people have their safe rooms, right? Like they
Given-
get into but
Given that we're
Panic
dealing
room.
with supernatural threats, or at least seemingly supernatural threats, magical at the very least, I don't know.
Right. I mean, for all intents and purposes, there's still a chance that the monster could come out of my glasses. We still haven't really dealt with that problem yet.
There's a lot of the house that I was never allowed to explore. So if my grandfather had some kind of safe space that could keep out unwanted supernatural entities, I couldn't begin to tell you where it is. I could probably tell you some places that it isn't, but that's the best I can do.
It's fair. I say we just peek into this room up here, and then as long as there's nothing interesting, we head back into town.
Didn't we,
Sounds fair to me.
find like jewelry and stuff that we could sell?
We did. So maybe we can get that for some like supplies to make healing potions, and I could like make a few healing potions, and then we can call it good.
I mean, unless that's like your family heirlooms and stuff. I don't want to intrude on,
I mean, from you,
vintage.
no offense. I just didn't expect that from someone so morally grey. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I can't really judge.
I'm trying to figure out which part you think I would do. The selling family heirlooms.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
there's-
definitely that.
That bothers me a bit because
Or that I don't have family. I couldn't tell which one you're talking about.
Oh no, mostly the family heirloom sort of thing, but not
Are we-
having family isn't really your fault. Or is it? You could have killed them.
Well,
and
no,
made
I
them
have
your-
family,
your
but the not
playthings.
having family heirlooms is mainly because, like, humans stole all of our stuff, but that's a whole different
Oh,
conversation.
That's right. That's incredibly unfortunate. Yes, I'm terribly sorry about that.
we certain the Crown didn't just ransack the house while they did their investigations.
No.
I'd be
Only.
surprised if they didn't. Whether officially or just the investigators acting on their own.
So what I'm
Well-
hearing is we go back to town, we find where the Crown people are staying, we kill them.
Yes, exactly. Finally.
Interesting thought. That is.
Oh, I see Marcus like not responding well to it. I'm like, oh yes, of course. That's so bizarre. I can't believe you even suggested that.
All right.
Crown is
Henry
not
wants
to
to
be
go into
messed
this room, and Henry is very strong, and I think we can all protect Marcus and do that quickly, right? And then go to town.
Marcus can even fly above us.
That's
Like a couple
Right.
more minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
the
so
entire
long that
process where Marcus has
Get
to kind
moving.
of like floating there. Yeah. Oh, this is weird. Oh god, that was just okay. I got myself. Don't worry about it.
Just rest on like
Um,
one of the bookcases that's still standing up. Just
If we're not going to explore this this stairway at the moment, I'm going to close the door so that if there's anyone else poking around the house, they may not find it.
And it sets him pretty well. You can see now in some spots because you know what to look for where that secret door is, but you think it's pretty well hidden now for anyone else,
You
for
could
any
just
other prying
draw
eyes.
big X on.
In blood.
No, I would never.
In Marcus's blood.
Yes, I just scoop up some of Marcus's blood.
I would
Brockton
rather
just
you not
starts
touch.
sneak attacking each one of you slowly at the base of the spine.
E2.
Kills Marcus. Well, if Henry wants to explore this last room before we go back to town, I'm cool with that. I still have most of my magic left. So if I need to pull out the big guns, I can pull out the big guns.
Wonderful.
That's called conservation. You guys should learn it.
Yeah, I'm feeling peachy. You guys should really just, try to get hit less.
Yes.
Really works out in the long run.
Well,
That's
it's funny.
such good advice.
Every time I do a light rest, I always feel rejuvenated, so I don't really need to conserve anything.
Oh, that's very useful. It's very useful. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure everything will be fine. I say to Marcus as I like kind of turn around and like hurry up after Henry.
Marcus,
It'll be fine.
I advise you not be in a direct line from the door when Henry opens it.
Oops.
Oh,
Sorry,
This
sorry.
turns into Wednesday young adult novel material.
Not this decrepit library meet cute happening right now.
As Sebastian kind of bumps into Marcus's very balloon-esque
Oh.
pecs.
Oh.
balloon. Oh, don't like that description.
Listen, I need you to undermine the hot and sweaty lids, okay? No, we can't have that on stream.
About to turn into a Wattpad novel in here.
Oh, what? I don't want to. All right. As you guys fan out,
I knew someone would understand, and I'm glad it was Clancy.
I don't want to know. No, do not. No, thank you. Yeah, stop. All right. Cut that. All right. As you guys inch forward, and I advise all the viewers to not Google that. I think.
No, it's fine.
Who opens
Yeah,
the
well,
door?
that's fine.
Probably have
Wow, David.
an antivirus installed.
Way to not be
before
in on
you
pop
follow any
culture.
links if you Google
Yeah,
that. Just saying.
sorry. The beard
There we
just
go. Up
added
here.
15 years, behind the times now. As
It
you guys
happens.
stand
Blink of an eye.
shoulder to shoulder to shoulder now, you see a double set of doors, which you have seen those double set of doors lead into the hallways now. As you slowly creak those open, you indeed see more of the hallway kind of
Yeah.
extending before you. It is indeed the door here that you're a little bit curious about.
Henry kicks it open.
Bam! All right, as you kick it open, thank you for putting all regard for safety away. Before you see a room that was dedicated to the storage of cleaning supplies and bed linens. The small storeroom is one of the few rooms barely changed by the ruin of the mansion, it seems. While many of its shelves and boxes once contained supplies, most of what remains has long since been lost to decay. Poking through the remains, you see a couple, or kind of like sticking out, you see a couple paper-wrapped bars of soap. There seems to be a handful of glass vials and bottles, which could potentially be cleaned and reused. But you kind of look through, and there doesn't really seem to be anything else that is too valuable, though you look around and you do see what appears to be some kind of massive barrel in the center of the room.
You want to go look at it, Henry? There could be a body in there.
Oh, there could be beer. Let's go.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys want to see a dead body?
Why not?
Yeah, I'd really like to see if we can open the lid.
Alrighty. You kind of step up towards the
Uh-oh.
lid and kind of like
Why did I
kinda
walk in?
jostle around with it, and you're like, and as you do, suddenly a spring-loaded trap kind of seems to hit something on the underside there, and as you kind of pull it up, suddenly you can see a tiny little hammer just jump into something that seems to be a glass vial that inside of it contains some kind of clear liquid. However, the second it smashes it, suddenly there is an explosion, a splattering of this acid that is going to splatter upon you. I need you to make me a dex saving throw. However, this one I'm going to say was not something that you saw.
That's fine. You know what? I have inspiration. I will use advantage for it.
Get it.
Do you know who saw it happen though? Me. I'm sitting in the doorway watching it. Hey.
Hey.
Very nice. Alrighty, as...
I just put the lid back down.
Yeah, you kind of like take the and immediately kind of splatter it across. You can see that indeed inside of it, there's a bunch of acrid smoke now and melted objects. They may have been valuable at one point, but as you kind of look in there, you hear popping noises and kind of like something just kind of melting into, just kind of like a melting barrel of some sort. Yeah, whatever was in there is absolutely gone.
It wasn't beer. I think it's better back
What
down.
was that sound? Is everyone all right?
Henry's dead.
What?
Damn it.
What?
I'm fine. It's
Oh,
okay.
well.
There was a trap. It didn't work. Someone who made it. It was really shoddy work. Really. But
Yeah.
there were some like broken things in there already. They were totally broken beforehand. So
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
exactly right. Yeah.
It's very convenient for you.
Yeah.
So everyone make a mental
So-
note. Fancy magic scroll glass display cases, not trapped. Inconspicuous barrel in the middle of the rooms, yes, trapped.
That's fair.
It is interesting.
You can
Mhm.
check to see if there's salvageable, right? I mean, who knows?
You can probably
Sure.
open it back up. The vial's already broken.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna peek in, blink my eyes, they'll go black. I'm gonna detect magic in there.
You're muted.
You're
Oh
muted,
man, it looked
David.
like such a good description
You
too.
see,
He was
Yeah,
really
sorry.
you
When
were
I,
so
when I try
into
to
it.
when I try to type like, and I was like, don't want to like tick 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 fucking mechanical keywords. But you see, at the bottom of the barrel is the most amazing magical aura that you've ever seen, kind of seeping out as you realize whatever was at the bottom of the barrel has just been absolutely annihilated. Whatever magic there was is just kind of dying away.
Can I tell what school of magic it was before it died away?
No.
The
For the spell?
expensive kind.
Come on. All right.
Hang on. It seems to have been kind of weak to mediocre-ish evocation magic, and it just goes away.
Hmm.
Mm.
That was probably the trap, honestly. Yes.
Henry,
Why would you trap?
you know it was not the trap when Brent says that out loud. That was a mechanical thing. But though nobody else really witnessed that happening as much as you did.
Yeah, it is probably the trap. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was
Right,
like
why would
this
you trap
weird
barrel?
acid explosion.
I know,
But-
right? It is really weird.
Maybe they were rationing food and they didn't want people stealing their food.
Or their beer, right? You know.
Destroy
Yeah,
the
true. What if there was beer in there and the trap would have dumped the acid in the beer, so if someone tried to steal it, they would end up drinking acid?
Oh,
It makes sense.
that's a good idea.
Don't overthink it, Celine. I can tell it's making your head hurt.
All right. Am I the one overthinking it? I think that sounds sort of elaborate for some beer, but beers
Maybe it
from
was
your world. Who knows?
Fancy beer. Maybe it was fancy. I don't know.
Well, whatever it was, it's gone now, and there's no point worrying about it. Is there anything else in here we can break?
What about that door? Do we know what is behind that door to the
I-
to the north?
Wager the hallway.
Oh yeah, it's the
Yeah.
collapsed hallway.
We can just go
Ooh.
the way.
But
You
what if it
open the
leads to
door,
another
Henry,
dimension?
And you can indeed confirm it is the collapsed hallways. You can like
It's another dimension, isn't it? Isn't it? You're not saying anything, which means that it is.
He'll peek his head through and be like, "Oh yeah, it's just the dimension. The house is perfectly normal on the other side. Go ahead, go in. Here, like take a peek.
And then I look, and I see all the fallen boards.
No, you gotta stick your head through. It's like one of those gateways that you gotta put your body through.
No,
Brockton.
I don't want to. I'm too lazy.
As you walk away from the childish bickering of the rest of the group, do you think Marcus would catch on to any annoyance from you or any other kind of like outwardly display of emotion?
Probably,
Marcus,
Yeah.
though you're feverishly trying to prestidigitate away the blood that keeps seeping through your clothes, and you kind of hope that it turns necrotic because then, maybe it'll count as a mending spell. But in any case, as he walks by, you can tell that Brockton doesn't seem to be in a great mood with all of the bickering happening for the rest of the group.
Children, if we could please focus our attentions back to the matter at hand, which is exploring instead of, well, honestly, I don't think we've ever actually come together to hear you all pick apart each other and try to see which hill you're willing to die on and what.
Oh, I
Oh.
think death might be near. You're making less and less sense by the
Oh,
moment.
I know,
It's intriguing.
I know. Ever thinking of having a conversation that didn't include
Yes.
being
What hill
rude
are
to
you dying
somebody? Unfortunately, it sounds like the hill that I'm dying on will be whichever one you all are fighting about currently. Again, not anything I'm too interested in. Brock, wait for me, please. I don't want to die completely alone.
David, refresh my memory, please. Was this staircase still functional, or was it?
It's
I
collapsed
don't
down,
remember.
though. It kind of like, because of the railing and the way that it's built, kind of seems to block the side, and that's why your VTT is telling you that there is a wall. So no, you cannot climb it up.
Okay. And then this growth, whatever it is blocking these doors, right?
It is, yeah. Has kind of grown through and over. Through the door handles themselves, you see massive root-like, roots really growing through all of this, sealing it somewhat shut. You think that with enough work, you could probably get rid of it, as you hear boom, as Marcus drops onto the ground, losing the fly spell?
Yes. Are the roots coming, like, from the ground or from the ceiling?
Both.
Oh?
Marcus, go ahead and give me a nature check with advantage.
Oh boy.
As a child of the Feywild, you know that, yes, there certainly are growths. They happen naturally in this world, but they're never magnificent, beautiful, terrifying, soul enrapturing as the ones that you have seen in the Feywild. And as you kind of run your hands along that, it's a lot of growth for just 20 years from something. You saw the trees outside and they seemed threatening, and your heart stops for a second, for you think, with all of this talk of extraplanar natures, maybe indeed there is a threshold here.
Marcus will just chuckle lightly and quickly take his hand off of the roots. Wipe it a little bit, smear the blood, whatever at this point. And well, suppose the roots are magical as well. I could try to be useful, I guess, and chop them away.
I
Might
don't
take
know
a bit
at
though.
this Point. I'm all but certain this leads back to the entry hall.
Fair enough.
And I mean, Brockton, you would have remembered that from your childhood, let's say.
Fair enough. I'm certain this just leads back to the entry hall.
Yeah, we could just go around. How many deadly rooms do we gotta go back through to get back to the entrance?
It'll be fine.
All of
Define
them.
deadly. Henry, roll me a d6. As you guys watch Henry leave the room, in his hands he has like what seems to be kind of like almost like a chemist's set of glass vials. He comes out with what seems to be 5 glass vials still intact. There seem to be stoppers next to it. And Henry, you realize these absolutely could be used for the brewing of health potions.
Nice.
Well done.
Put them in my bag. Look at that. I got more glassware for later. See if I can cook something up.
What else do we need to make a health potion?
Henry, you would know. There are certain, tinctures, herbs, certain blood from creatures within the wild that you could probably use and utilize within the brewing process. It would take you some time. You could probably brew a potion a day. If you kind of push it, you could try to maybe brew 2 potions a day with enough downtime within the village. And if you guys get your hands on the herbs quite quickly, you could maybe ask Brock and the others to venture into the woods and try to find what they may. We could ask some of the locals. Maybe there are a couple hunters that could help out with the process.
Oh, convey all that. It could be a team effort, right? You know, I mean, I am pretty good, I will say. My father taught. I've been doing this ever since. My father took me on his expeditions all around, this world and others. So it was fun.
It's incredible.
It was really boring when I was young, right? I mean, it was like I didn't really want to go on the trips, right? But I understood.
Well, I don't really feel like getting ticks, so you're more than welcome to wander among the brush if you like. Anyway, but I do really think that we should be going back. I think that Marcus is probably approximately maybe 20 minutes away from passing out.
Marcus, are you dead?
Not to
Oh my
disappoint
God,
you,
not
but
that-
no.
oh. It was too long of a response. I got a little worried for a second.
Bryn's twinkle at the prospect of the corpse seems to grow.
Yeah. Just getting
Please
ever
don't lean on me
anxious.
in that way.
As interesting as that sounds, let's go back.
Yes.
All
Do you need me to carry you, Marcus? I can carry you if you need. Put you over my shoulder.
How does Celine look at that moment when Henry offers that to Marcus?
Mm-hmm. There's like a flash of like insane rage, but then she just like smiles, like, and it's even creepier.
Oh no.
Great. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Do you want to do that, Marcus? Do you think you should do that? It's a good idea.
Marcus will take Henry up on the offer, but change into Celine.
Oh. Oh my god, it is a Wattpad novel.
Half a second, just for like half a second, and then
Henry, roll me a
Oh,
D100. Just a plain D100.
just for the fun.
You did not notice that. Marcus just gives you a look, Celine, as they kind of like turn into you and then back into themselves as Henry picks up Marcus.
Lord, my hair is so shiny.
Honestly, though, take it as a compliment.
I do.
Good, good. As you should. Not every day I get to change into something as good looking as me.
Isn't he so funny, Cece?
Yes.
Yes. Calm down. Think about the wrinkles.
I'm fine. It's
Lighten the
fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Alrighty. You guys are just leaving the house at this point, right? To head back to the village.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Is
Marissa,
that
go
the
ahead.
plan?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, I just was making sure. I think I'm having a little lag, so I might be a little late on replying to things.
Okay, no worries. With that, Marissa, why don't you go ahead and roll me a D10, please?
Well, I love to, David. Thank you for the opportunity. A
Yeah,
D10?
Of course. Thank
Perfect.
you. 10, yes.
Oh, 10.
A full
Wow.
10. Absolutely. This is magnificent.
Is it?
As you guys filter out of the
Maybe.
manor once more, leaving the door behind to kind of like slowly open and close.
You have the key.
behind
We can lock that, right?
Wait, do we have the key?
It was unlocked when we got here.
Never mind.
As you guys leave the estate behind, the trees swaying slowly about you, and you look up and you see a murder of crows flying overhead. Sebastian and Celine, the two of you roll me a D100.
Hey, did you guys know that a group of crows is called a murder? Fun fact.
Yes, and a group of vultures is called a committee.
Fitting.
And there's something that's a parliament, but I don't remember
So
what it is.
that's what we call the
dear
C-suite
Granny.
at WotC copyright. So as we are heading through the woods there, and this murder of crows flies by. Celine, you're hanging back a little bit as Sebastian seems to be kind of lost in thought, looking forward, definitely not only looking at Marcus's cake. And you see a singular raven feather kind of slowly gliding down and just kind of landing into your hand. Pristine, beautiful. As you hold it, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
That's a bad omen.
Hey,
Mama's
we're
kid.
back. Hey, we're back. We're back, Foundry. I thought we were good, but we're back. It's fine. Perfect.
As you guys are walking through, Henry, I need you to make me a survival check, please.
God.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not good at survival. I'm a
All right.
good at anything.
And
Anything's
then
by
finally,
accident.
Brock, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Are we gonna die walking back to town?
Like it.
It's night.
Hey, House Divided was a lot of fun. They ended up dying outside of the house because they divided themselves from it. So, as you guys are walking through the woods,
If you leave the house, you die.
that was the trick all along. Celine, the raven feather lands in your hands, and you immediately seem to kind of go stock still as you become paralyzed. Your eyes roll into the back of your head as you kind of seem to convulse, standing still straight up. Henry, on the walk, you are a little bit maybe distracted, kind of carrying Marcus over your shoulder, or maybe kind of like having him flung kind of like over across your back, piggyback. You guys decide how you carried him.
I was thinking bridal style, but like
Sure. It's
Oh,
like,
I thought it was
okay,
fireman
I didn't-
scary.
I didn't wait for that.
I don't care how beefy you are. That gasses the biceps pretty fast. So.
Sure do. As
All the
as you-
doors stop as we're walking through the house.
Yeah.
Actually, here's what happened.
Ate him up.
He was
Ate his
in
head.
her
All of this.
caveman style. He switched to bridal style, and Celine immediately green feather falls, and she goes total. Yes. Makes
Harriet's
sense now.
prom, anyone?
As, good to it. Henry, as you walk through, you suddenly get excited. You drop Marcus. Marcus, you're like, ow. Henry, though, you kind of like rush forward as you're like, guys. And you stop because you see a large tree trunk. A tree that has fallen over probably years ago and has become rotten, and a wonderful bed for fungi to grow upon. And you can see that multiple different kinds of fungi seem to grow upon the tree bark itself. There's at least 3 different kinds. A big red cap variety with little white flecks across them, but seems to be some kind of a gray brownish kind with black lines kind of running across it, and a last one that seems to almost give off like a slight phosphorescent glow. Brockton, you kind of, as you help Marcus get back up from the muck and the mud, you suddenly look behind you and you notice that Celine has changed. As she's standing there, you suddenly see that where she already had relatively pale skin, maybe not quite as pale as Sebastian, she has gone completely stark white. Her eyes are black, and she seems to be just almost like in an epileptic seizure currently, kind of like frozen in place.
Celine?
No response.
Celine,
Sebastian,
what-
does
what
she-
are you talking about? What?
Does this happen to her?
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna rush up. Cece, what? Has
She
this ever
allergic
happened
to
before?
fresh air.
Celine, you're flying above the forest, your wings feeling the wind cut through them as you take another flight upwards. Your brothers and sisters flying alongside you, their black beaks shining in the beautiful sunlight. As you guys are flying through, you see carriage after carriage underneath you making their way towards this estate. attendants greeting nobility as they climb out of the carriages. Go ahead and make me a perception check. Your
Ooh.
crow eyes see very well, which actually gives you advantage on this perception check.
Okay, well, let's just see if I get a natural 20. No.
No.
It's a dirty 20.
As you look down upon it and circle, you see individual after individual climbing out as you and your family land upon the beautiful crenellations of the house and kind of look down for scraps and food that might fall off. But instead it's just boring human after boring human with very ostentatious clothing coming out of these things. Things that will pass with time, will see deterioration and ultimately die anyway, that they try so hard to make themselves so fancy as a... And you see an old man step forward, seemingly walking with a cane, not really needing it too much, but the years have definitely already bowed this man before the Raven Queen. And as he seems to greet more and more individuals coming out of these carriages, you're a crow, but you recognize a resemblance. Maybe it is now that Celine's persona starts to bleed into this memory of a crow from 20 years ago, as you realize this is the head of the household greeting his son and then his daughter. You can see the toxic look between the two exchanged. If looks could turn into daggers, they both would rip their heads off of their spines. Celine! Celine! As Sebastian suddenly breaks you out of it.
As I come to, I'm going to relay all of that, and then, finally come back to myself.
The raven feather in your hand turns to dust as it falls through your fingers.
Well, see, I fixed you. That was perfect. What the fuck was that?
It was a vision.
I thought this was it.
This whole time you guys have just been talking out loud.
I thought this was how we activated it. Was it this one?
Yeah, so I kind of my eyes are still black. I'm still kind of dazed. I say, a vision, and I repeat all of that stuff. And then he shakes me and I'm finally back to myself.
What?
Well, all right. I think all the more reason why we need to go take a rest, right? I think you're a little strained today.
Dehydrated.
To be clear, who was
Deprived.
giving murder looks to who? It was the
siblings.
The
So
siblings.
Brockton's mom and his uncle.
Okay. Your mother and uncle. Such hatred.
You had a vision.
Yes.
They certainly disliked each other.
On the night in question, they loathed each other.
Somewhat surprising that my mother's feelings were that strong. I knew she didn't like him and avoided him, but I didn't think she was capable of loathing anyone. Interesting.
Wasn't there something about that in the letter we found? Something about oh, if he's gonna be there, I don't want to be there, or something along the lines of that.
She certainly didn't like him, didn't want to be around him. She avoided him, but I just
Didn't know it was to that extent.
yes, yeah.
Well, that was weird. We should probably keep going.
I agree.
Henry, I think Celine is looking quite a bit pale still. Perhaps you should carry her instead. Besides, don't want to be seen in town being carried.
Sure, yeah, that's neat. Yeah, and he'll just like grab all the mushrooms and throw them into his bag.
By the way, why did you drop me?
Those mushrooms, right? They could potentially be used for some potions, right? So next time, you don't get all beat up.
Could also potentially be used for poisons or hallucinations or any number of things.
Or a nice stew. You can make a really
Do
good
you know
stew
which
out
ones
of
you're
them.
looking for?
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's some that like really just like let you see some things that is crazy, man. Those ones are like the best sometimes.
Oh, I agree. I
I've had
agree.
that
Oh, I
one
like
before.
this one.
Yeah.
Ergo, right?
Right.
Ergot, however you say it.
I think maybe we should keep the randomly saying things to once a day, and we've already checked that off the list. So we can go ahead and
That's fair. It's more like a nighttime
That's fair.
activity, right? Yeah.
and there's got to be someone to make sure no one else gets into trouble, and I feel like that's going to be me, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person.
You feel like it's going to be you?
Yeah, I'm not going to
You
take
feel
the,
like that's going to be you?
I'm not going to take the hallucinogenic mushrooms, which means I'm going to be the one to make sure that you guys don't kill yourself when you take the hallucinogenic mushrooms.
I trust Brockton sooner than.
Mhm.
Well, perhaps I shouldn't finish that sentence.
Are you dead yet,
Can I-
Marcus?
Do I feel like that
Can I try to
vision?
identify?
Do I feel like
Yeah.
that vision was a gift from my patron?
Unmistakably so. You
Yeah.
Salim, would interpret it as such for sure. Brockton?
I'm really high latency at the moment for some reason. So bear with me.
Stop it.
I'd love to.
And then did Darius seem to notice the animosity between the two?
100%. It seemed like...
Okay.
You know what? Going off of with a 20, make me a follow-up insight check as you kind of like try to hold on to those shreds of the vision. You swear in that raven that day caught the glimpse of a smile on Darius's face as he turned and walked back into the building.
Wait, what? Who had a smile?
The granddaddy.
His grandfather.
Okay. Sorry, for some reason my
I'm gonna
brain
stop
just
calling people
completely
names.
shut
Just
off for like
NPC
5 seconds.
Granddaddy, NPC daddy, perfect.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't the NPC
No,
thing.
please not.
Literally, my brain
NPC
just.
zaddy.
I think I just
Yeah,
had
we're
like.
gonna introduce everybody
Stop
to
it.
that. Okay. As you guys once
No.
again get
Tyler's
out of
having
the
some
way.
latency of his own.
Yeah,
It's
I'm pretty
okay.
sure I just had like a micro nap right in the
yeah.
middle of you explaining what was going on.
Yeah. So as you guys are walking through the forest, nothing else seems to assault or happen to you. You, after an hour of trudging through this incredibly disgusting muck and, branches that are tearing at your clothes, you come back into this small village with lazy trails of smoke rising from the many cottages throughout there. And you walk back in, and you guys spot what seems to be a team of horses tied up to the tavern that you hadn't seen there before. Kind of make note of it as you guys walk back into the place. The little bell, ting, 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 announces your entry. And you see, off in the corner, at the end of this long tavern hall, a trio of individuals. There seem to be 2 men with kind of longish, kind of almost silvery white hair, speaking with a third. And the third makes all of you kind of raise your eyebrows and look towards each other, for this man seems to be wearing just some kind of a weird tight leather vest. Second, almost like a shoulder apron that runs up the
I'm sorry.
throat itself. But the weirdest
mantle.
element of what mantle? Go ahead.
It's called a mantle.
A mantle. And the weirdest element of it all is an almost crow-like long pointed mask with glass lenses that protect the eyes themselves, though they seem to be so darkened that you can't quite see into them. The head kind of lifts up towards you, and these 2 other individuals turn around. Brockton, you immediately also notice that curled around the feet of one of the light-haired individuals without a mask, to the left of that individual with the mask, is a tiny lizard-like creature. Go to make me a survival or history check.
Celine, look, it's the Raven
Much
Queen.
better at history. But not better
Look,
at
it's a book.
You
Exciting.
in a book, read it. As copyright. As you look into yourself, you haven't heard many of these stories. You don't know exactly what that is, but you've heard of the fables. You've heard of the things that are dragons, but that is entirely too small. That is the size of a small dog curled around one of the legs of that man.
Fascinating.
All of you then
Henry.
realize.
Henry, have you ever seen one of those before?
No, but they are majestic beasts. It's a, lucky individual to have one of those.
It is in that moment that all of you realize that apparently at least one other adventuring group has arrived at the Raventree Manor, possibly to also reclaim it. And as the chase begins and another group is potentially going to move through, that is where we're going to take a quick break and hopefully give Damon maybe some time to reset the internet. I don't know. Maybe the ISP to decide to get their shit together. In any case, all right, you guys are back in town. Exciting! A house truly divided from its adventurers. We will see you guys here very shortly as we get back into the action. Alrighty, as we pick it back up, the group has divided itself from the house, the Raven Tree Manor that they are supposed to be clearing, instead making their way back downtown in order to maybe brew some potions and scope out the competition that apparently has been already setting up shop at the tavern. You guys walk towards the tavern owner, who kind of gives you a little bit of a look, and you hear him kind of go like, more fucking outsiders. Yes, back so soon? Did you clear it out already? You're them outsiders that were looking to clear the manor. And it seems like the tavern keep is almost like trying to get a reaction out of the other group. They kind of just look over and seem to intently listen in at that point, but make no other moves.
All cleared out, I would say. It was terribly dull, really, the whole thing. There was just these giant monsters that we fought against, and we almost died. One of us did die, and then we came back, but we figured it out.
Doesn't really sound like a dull affair.
I just
Your life
gesture
must be
at
incredibly
Marcus.
boring.
What?
And Marcus just do like a dramatic pose on the bar, just.
Oh, please don't get any blood on the counter. I just cleaned that.
Could add some flavor to your food.
No, sanitation issues. The crown is going to shut me down for that. Anyways, what can I help you with? You taking a break? Thank you. Appreciate you cleaning that up. It's nice. It's nice.
Ghost.
Yeah, good. I think we just need some rooms for the night.
Oh,
Yes.
you
For
stay-
free, if that's possible. Yes.
Free. Sebastian, you are hilarious. He's a bad joker.
No, I'm
see.
entirely serious. I want a room for free.
You can sleep in the stables if you'd like.
No.
Don't mind a little shit like you are.
Oh,
Well,
All right, the rest
I like
of
a
you
man
should
who
be able
talks
Wasn't
to.
back.
that just mockery?
You take a little psychic damage there, Sebastian. The rest of you should be able to maybe split 3 rooms. Probably be the cheapest deal for you.
Celine's doing the math in her head. 1, 2, 3.
all right. So the twins can get their own room.
hmm
There'll be silver piece per room.
Okay,
well,
sounds good.
Thank you.
So, do you
You
need
have-
silver pieces? I'll pay for it.
oh,
Oh, well,
so generous.
it was nice. Not often to see a pretty young lass like you come through a town like this. Where are you from?
Florida.
Oh, no. That is a long story, and you
Gatorville.
wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Oh, it must be from somewhere far and exotic.
Call me.
Celine sprouts her fucking wings, her skeletal wings out of her back. She loses her mind.
You hear some of the chairs actually kind of pushing away, and you see some of the other witch hunters and crown lackeys at that table starting to kind of like get ready for a throwdown for it. That was a display of something that might be not quite sanctioned under the crown's predilections. That's not the right word. God damn it.
I mean, that was kind of a joke, but we'll roll with it.
Oh, just kidding. That doesn't happen. None of the chairs move. As he's just like, well, it must be from somewhere exotic looking.
Somewhere down south.
Deep south.
Oh,
Very deep.
mountains.
Hell.
Right.
Oh,
It's
you
been
like
a
to
long
know,
day.
darling?
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
is
The
that, is
mountains.
that a
Sure,
is that
no,
an
I'm-
ex? You know, I can make him sleep in the stables for you too. Knife ear too. You date knife ears?
No.
Ooh.
No, I have standards.
Well, this is the highest standard you could get.
I didn't
No.
follow that exactly, but did you just insult me?
No, Mason,
You.
we've never.
Ren.
No.
You. Did you just insult me?
No.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I put all the silver down on the bottom.
Rooms
Celine
for me
decided to
have
fail
my
this
own.
insight check. Celine will
Give me
not
please.
remember this. You put down the 3 silver pieces, and you get another untoward wink and stupid face from the tavern keep. As you guys get 3 keys, head up the stairs, and walk into your respective rooms. It is not quite dinner time yet, but, you know, the sun is hanging low in the western sky. What would you like to do with the rest of your day?
I think we should all be together. Because is splitting up wise?
I don't think we can all fit in one room. That's why we had to get 3 rooms.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
little
more like a
craft.
Ramada, less like a,
Yep.
you know...
It's like a Motel 6.
Well, yeah. Right. Well, I know we'll be fine. Marcus, do you want to stay with us?
I figured I'd share a room with my friend Brockton. Yeah, unless there's a large.
That's fine.
You would like your own bedroom, wouldn't you, Brockton?
No, sorry.
Come
I
on, you
was
don't.
lost in thought, and just when you said my name, it snapped me out of it a bit abruptly. That's all.
It's an interesting
Wow.
social experiment, yes. Your
It's not-
family. Probably, right? We keep forgetting. It is his family that we're investigating. Maybe.
I'm so happy you finally remember what I've been trying to say almost every hour.
What'd you say?
Sorry, never mind.
I just walk into
Nothing.
one of the rooms.
Nothing.
I don't know which one it is.
I'm not sure which part he was talking about.
Yeah, you walk in,
Okay.
and there's a wooden bed frame that has like all of these ropes underneath it. You see the mattresses are just pretty sogged through and sweated through, linen that have wrapped inside of it, hay and straw, so it'll be comfortable, albeit a little smelly.
Oh dear gods.
Marcus, can you clean these?
I'm on it.
A magical sprayer suddenly appears. There's suddenly like a maid outfit that appears upon Marcus. Yes. I'm just kidding.
Angelies can't change clothes, but if they could, absolutely, it would be made of it.
As you're able to clean it off as best as you can. Some of the stains are so deeply entrenched within the cloth now that you probably won't get them out permanently, but it looks and significantly smells better than it did before.
A nice lavender fragrance as well. Just something nice to put you to sleep. Yeah.
So are we going to sleep now, or are we going to try to talk to people downstairs?
I think we still gotta sell some stuff and buy some stuff. It's still like early afternoon, right?
Getting towards the evening, but yeah, you will have some hours before you will feel. I mean, like Marcus could probably like lay down or something like that, but it's more the wounds at this point and the blood loss, but not necessarily. Some of you do not feel tired.
Yeah. Marcus can stay here. We could just maybe we can like pack some of your wounds with hay from the beds.
I'd rather not. Thank you. Fred, I have to admit, I love your tenacity. I know you want to kill me sooner rather than later. I'm not keen on dying anytime soon.
I had an idea
Actually-
before you do sleep, though. Sorry, I was talking. Could we capture some of your blood in those delicious vials that Henry found?
No, those are for health potions. See, this is why you don't have the ideas.
I do need some blood, but you know, do I know if their blood would work?
Make me a medicine check.
Say it. Say you need blood, please say that next, because I'm
Oh,
just
no.
pausing.
We already knew that he needed
Yeah,
blood.
No, don't you backtrack now.
Marcus is a changeling. their blood is a little magical, maybe? Sure.
It might work. That would be kind of fun because I don't think I've ever used your type of blood before. But,
Weird.
I'm pretty sure I heard that line before from a Dampier. It didn't really work either that time. Brock, I trust your medical advice more so than anyone else.
I think a bath and a night's sleep and you'll be okay.
You're bleeding your blood anyway. No.
I am indeed bleeding my blood.
So eloquently put.
For everyone.
Thank you.
Fine. Just don't use it for anything weird. And can we do this in a... That sounds terrible. Can we...
We can do it. We can do it in a room. It's okay.
Thank you.
Let's go to a bedroom.
Fine.
Blaine, wipe that look off your face right now.
All right. Moving into a little bit more of a downtime mode here. What are some things that you guys would like to accomplish? And if it's your character just hanging out in the room, maybe studying a book, or reminiscing on things, or trying to remember something, brewing a potion, trying to negotiate prices for the ingredients for that kind of stuff, what is it that you guys would like to accomplish? And we kind of move through that more quickly if you guys like to. Or we can spend the rest of the session in the tavern. I mean, it is your story. I do want to recognize that.
Well, I want to spend the rest of the evening planning out how I would murder each of my party members and writing it down in a book, except for my sister.
Okay,
Are you being serious, or is that a joke? Listen, at this point, I gotta ask, I guess.
No, I'm totally gonna do that. I find that incredibly fascinating. I would just love to, just in case. I think Sebastian would be really into that.
No, planning is good. I mean, the best way to do it is never a bad idea.
Next week, you're gonna have to tell us. You're gonna have to actually come up with all the ways that you've decided to kill each one of us, and you're gonna have to tell us next week.
Oh no, I'm gonna make him
That's
do
your
that at
homework
the end
now.
of once we're done with the downtime activities. I'll give him like 10 minutes. Alrighty, Henry,
perfect.
what do you do during downtime?
That's your homework now.
You're going to drink and brew potions at the same time, right? So a little bit
Brew
the
them,
same.
drink them, brew them,
Yeah,
drink
yeah.
them.
Seems
Knock
risky.
them back.
Drunk chemistry, ladies and
Just-
gentlemen. What
yeah.
could possibly go wrong?
Oh yeah, remind me actually, Alex. There's a save you need to roll me when you guys get back into town. Brockton, during this time, what would you like to do?
Brock is really kind of mentally chewing on what he's learned today. He kind of doesn't want to interface with people very much. I think it'd probably be something along the lines of like, if Henry has a list of herbs and stuff that he needs for his potions, I might go wandering around and see if I can find some. That would probably be, barring that, I would probably just find a corner and sip on some scotch or something, and whatever scotch is called in a world without Scotland. But
Dwarf. Shh, ignore that. Just move past it. Do not. No. You're dwelling on it. No. Let's just let it go into your mind, out of your mind. Into your mind, out of your mind. Alrighty. Was there something more, Brockton, before we were so rudely interrupted?
No, not really. He's really kind of, it's not even so much emotional as it is like just, wow, so much about my family that I just didn't know, and trying to replay things in his mind. He's got a pretty good memory, so he's trying to like replay events from his childhood as best he can remember them, but looking through them with an adult's perspective, things like that.
So therapy without a therapist. I can't wait. That's going to only go well. But yeah, as you kind of like doing the introspective while you're walking, and definitely you can kind of like look in the outskirts and whatnot. Marcus, during this time, as you are bleeding and cleaning and bleeding and cleaning, what do you want to do during this downtime?
Well, originally Marcus was going to show Brockton the small ring he found, but seeing that, I figure knowing Brockton when he gets in this headspace, he just knows, kind of wants to be left alone. He's gonna respect that, and just get some bandages on all of his wounds so he stops bleeding, and also take up a corner of, well, he'd actually stay at the bar if like there's seating there, and he's just gonna try and listen in on the other adventurers that are around and kind of keep a close eye on those of the crown
Interestingly
that are here.
enough, Marcus, as you guys come back down and you kind of walk down the stairs with Brockton, as you can see him already starting to chew over the information, and it's something that Brockton does so well, right? He's kind of that introspective investigator that was able to suss out some of the most complex puzzles you have ever seen. Maybe it's just a Rubik's Cube, and you don't understand how those fucking things work. They don't have magic in them. How do they not have magic in them? You watch Brockton do them in 2 seconds, and it's definitely magic, and you've called him out for it. But anyway, so
It's definitely a Fae thing.
Oh,
It's
100%
obviously a Fae magic. Yeah.
And Brockton has tried to explain to you there's math involved with that, and you can, if you just follow these 3 simple steps, you can do any Rubik's Cube, and you're like, fuck that. But you can see that he's getting into that phase, kind of like ruminating upon that information, backing off. But as you walk down, the people are gone. This other adventuring party seems to have departed. Celine, what do you do during your downtime?
I'm helping my brother make his list. It's a fun little activity we've done since we were children.
So you guys are playing Fuck, Marry, Kill, but it's really just kill, kill, kill. We got it.
Exactly. No, there's a fuck and a marry in there. Right. We're actually paying.
Sometimes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but we've got
Oh,
more than 3
no.
people, you know, so it's
Yes.
fuck, marry,
Exactly.
kill, kill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes it better.
that's all.
It's fair, fair.
Alrighty. Anything else beside that? And you're gonna have to answer that question now. Who's gonna be the fuck? Who's gonna be the marry? And who's gonna be the kill?
boy.
Kill?
Oh, we know.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure we all know.
gonna kill Brent.
We're gonna kill Bryn. Yep.
But you have to
Right
tell
off
me
the bat.
how.
That's a double vote.
You
I
have
see
to
that,
tell
yeah.
me how.
How is up to my brother.
beat his head in with a book or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's boring. No, you're only allowed to kill me if you can come up with a creative way.
All right, so marry Henry, obviously.
Obviously.
Fuck the doctor.
Or Marcus?
Wow.
I cannot do that. I'm pretty sure that's my brother's Mary.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yes. Yes.
Oh.
You know, I think I would marry the doctor just because then you're guaranteed a life of financial stability. And obviously we would probably fuck Marcus. I mean, but you know, I won't get too crazy with that.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I think I just admire Marcus, but I don't know. I haven't really explored that sort of part of myself, so who knows? Who knows? We could just live together for the rest of our lives, and I don't know. Now I'm starting to sound like
Right.
an old hag. I don't really.
Is it
Never
because he's
mind.
been dead most of the journey so far that you're having problems?
Well, no, I
does
just
that
don't
mean?
know. I don't know if I have a physical attraction to people. I mean, I think I do, but
Oh.
I also think I like myself a little bit more.
Well, of course, darling. I mean, if we're putting ourselves into the game,
Yes.
certainly that changes things, but...
Who knows?
Anyhow,
I'll get
how are we
back
going
to
to
you.
kill Bryn?
Oh, how are we going to kill Bryn?
Mhm.
Oh.
I'll give you a little bit more time to think about that. So Brockton and Marcus have headed down. Henry, you're kind of like brewing stuff up. Bryn, what are you doing during this time?
I want to see if I can spend the 10 gold that I have to my name to buy the stuff I need for Find Familiar, if it may be here anywhere.
Okay.
It's just like charcoal and incense, right?
So everyone else leaves the inn, right? Henry, as you go like, oh yeah, just pulling out these mushrooms and starting to cut them up. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh. Okay. Doing it on the counter as I drink. Constitution save. Oh, yeah, that's
Kind
horrible.
of crumble
That's
it, drink a little bit more, crumble it more, drink a little bit more. Okay. And you kind of feel like, it's just kind of something scratching in your throat. It's gonna be fine. And you just kind of keep brewing. And that is when you hear the voices of Sebastian and Celine. They're not talking to each other, but talking to each other. It's like, yeah, I mean, Henry's stability. But yeah, we'd both fuck Marcus.
I think it's probably just the alcohol drinking that I'm drinking, so I'm just, just keep on powering through. It's fine.
Oh, the power of denial in this group. Henry will choose not to remember this.
I'm gonna feel real bad if Henry dies because I'm pretty sure it ended up that we were the ones sharing a room and I left. So
during this time, Bryn, you head out and you ask questions. This little hamlet, this little village doesn't necessarily have a lot of supplies, though. What you need is basic enough that oftentimes it is also used for basic protective spells that these villagers like to put up in order to keep extraplanar creatures and monsters away, or at least that is the common belief behind it. So you are able to procure that over the next hour, negotiating and babbling about trying to get that stuff. Marcus.
yeah, it doesn't even have to be magic. It just has to be incense and charcoal.
How active are you about your overhearing conversations? Do you strike up conversations, or do you just try to be the hunk of man at the end of the bar?
Yeah, just trying to go for a little bit of the. I mean, Brockton's got his shtick of like staying at a dark corner, the kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Strike.
Loathsome kind of look that some people seem to go for. Marcus is going to try and get like himself in the best lighting around the place, and it kind of pose a whole like he's still quite the warrior despite his wounds. After a long day, he's gonna enjoy a nice strong drink. But yeah, he's just actively listening. If somebody like comes up and talk to him, he'll try to be polite, but it's obviously likely going to be that he's oh yes.
Count up maybe a couple copper pieces as you get piss poor drink at this establishment. You kind of do. During this time, go ahead and make me a perception check based on your charisma. So let's see here. Let's see what modifiers we have. Perception, you are not trained in, so you're partially trained in. So we're going to do a 1 plus, so a d20 plus 5, please.
Yeah, I can do that.
And during this time, you draw some attention. There are some, essentially the way that it works with hamlets. They usually are mostly run by the priests, the clerics of the Lord of the Sun, which of course is the god that the crown, the empire, mostly worships. And by mostly, I mean exclusively, at the exclusion of any other god. So the priests here are very, very, very influential. And the garrison is really just the form of a militia. You have certain people that work and are clothed by and are fed by the church that essentially keep the peace within these smaller communities, just because having actual soldiers with actual equipment is just something that a lot of these places can't afford. And if anything is going to draw enough attention that somebody's going to steal a piece of plate mail armor or whatnot. Now, as you kind of overhear, there are the ladies from around town, whether they are 55-year-old ancient hags for the peasant life upon the upon the village and the farms of the outskirts of this little hamlet,
Yeah.
or the much more younger spring chickens that seem to be walking about. You're pretty sure that at this point they have taken whatever passes for rouge. Sometimes you're pretty sure it's just ironed rust, and kind of put it upon their cheeks, and they're trying to sat you up, and it's almost like the triplets in Belle's little solo song swooning over Gaston kind of happening, as they're kind of like trying to talk over each other to try to get your attention. But what you do over here over time is that these villagers are kind of relieved in a way to see you all, though they're concerned what they are seeing. They're relieved because this finally means that somebody's going to take, charge. This hamlet has been kind of forgotten by the crown, and maybe if someone goes in and brings up the same esteem and the same through traffic that the estate once did, at least some of the ancients remember 20 years ago what happened there. It's like, back in my day, the hamlet actually flourished, and a lot of people started to come here because of the trade that was happening, and then it just died down. A lot of people just left the hamlet in response to that. So they're hoping for an economic boost because of these developments. However, word around town now has kind of spread that a bunch of weirdos and an elf started making their way towards the place. Now there's some guy with a mask and some edgy looking fellas, and it's weird. A lot of weirdos coming through, and there seems to be a general concern of who's going to be the next lord or lady of the estate, ruling over the hamlet, making decisions that could potentially impact everyone here. So there's a little bit of that tension there.
Does Marcus know for a fact that Brockton is not interested in taking up the family business?
Brockton?
I mean, yeah, Brock doesn't care to put in the effort to restore the manor or anything of the sort, and he's really not interested in magic at all. Like he wants to understand it more from a, like, I want to be able to rule out if one of my patients is being affected by magic kind of a thing, but he doesn't want to learn it. He doesn't want to practice it. So it would, and he has a desire to just run a business and pay other people to make the items for him to sell. So yeah, he really just wants to try and find any family heirloom type of stuff that he just doesn't want to fall into the wrong hands, and other than that, he wants to be done with this place.
Okay. There goes that idea, but respect a friend's wishes and all that. Okay.
All right.
Marcus will certainly chat up a few of the girls, just for politeness sake, but make comments every once in a while. About not feeling quite well. So his blood probably starts to seep again from some of this thing.
You have the rouge. All right.
Yes, I have the real rouge.
Brockton, you're starting to follow a lot of the game trails that you recognize from around the hamlet, where hunters and even just the people who live in the village go out and hunt. And it's interesting. Normally people would be they wouldn't be allowed to do that. They would actually have to buy permission from the lord or lady to go hunting upon these lands, but because there's no lord or lady, this hamlet is kind of, it's so rebellious, doing whatever they want to in that regard, right? But that also potentially means that they've overhunted the area, or maybe hunted too much of the game, which now is making predators more dangerous. You're not quite sure. But as you're going around trying to find some of these ingredients, mulling things over, go ahead and give me a nature or a survival check, please.
I am proficient in nature, so I will go that route. Not bad. 19.
You go about and, you find certain flowers and weeds, herbs, mosses, as you start to kind of gather them through, and your mind is wheeling and kind of thinking on these things. Your mother was called to the estate by your grandfather. I mean, you knew that. It must have happened like that. She took your sister. She didn't take you. I mean, you were away at boarding school. She could have made a special request. You would have had to travel a long time. I mean, you would have lost weeks of education. I suppose maybe that wasn't worth it. How do you think he feels about the fact that he wasn't included?
Well, on the one hand, it's been 20 years. He's kind of at peace with it, regardless of how he felt initially. Part of him's glad he wasn't there because he would probably have suffered the same fate as everyone else, almost certainly. More so when he was younger, he was... before the event went down, he was kind of upset because he was close to his grandmother. He wanted to celebrate his grandmother's life, and that's what he thought it really was supposed to be about. But at the same time, he enjoyed his studies, and so, there was in his mind that trade-off of, well, I'd get behind, but, damn it, I miss my grandmother. And currently it's more of a, I wonder if she thought if I cared, is kind of more what he thinks now. I wonder if she just thought that I was ambivalent to the whole thing.
Sunlight meets you. And as you kind of like seem to almost shake out of this reverie, you kind of put some of the stuff away and you look up and you see a man in white garb that is definitely sullied at the bottom with a soaked mud has definitely left its stains upon what seems to be priestly robes. You see the sunburst and beautiful gold stitching upon the chest of this individual. There seems to be a tight black leather vest. No, just kidding. But there seems to be what is kind of like this nice wolf mantle, like wolf fur mantle, kind of hung about the shoulders there of this kind of portly looking, relatively short, maybe like 5'4" man as he kind of like starts to muck towards you. Well, man. You look upon him, you see kind of like a large bulbous nose that it almost looks like a fleshy potato that was just inset in the center of his face. These tiny, beady little brown eyes, big old bushy gray hair, and you can see that the hair has certainly started to recede, but the man is still proud of it and seems to kind of style it, kind of like having it flare over to the side. As you recognize this priest, the religious leader of the village, making his way towards you. Your training seems to kind of kick in, and you remember the respect that one might show one of these religious leaders, for they usually have quite a bit of sway in whatever commune that they exist in. A place so remote, this man is probably the closest thing to a ruler that this village has.
Is there a title I would know to use?
Sunbringer, a priest, father.
Greetings, Sunbringer.
Oh, greetings to you, my child. I have not seen you amongst my flock. You must be one of the hunters of the dark. You sent here by the crown, yes?
More here on personal business, but related to the crown's work in the area.
Oh. You see the man look towards the mansion, and you can tell in his advanced age, you're able to, just with even your passive investigation, piece together pretty quickly that the man knows exactly where their mansion is, and must have, judging just by age, been here during the event itself. Ah, yes. Raventree. Quite the tragedy. It's been a rough 20 years without them. I've lost many a folk trying to find greener pastures during that time. Private business, you say? Did you know anyone of the attendants that came through that day?
I have some relation to the Anmatars.
Oh. You see him kind of like trying to remember. Go ahead and make me a deception check.
It's not deception. It's true. My grandmother was an Anmatar.
That's true. Sorry. You know what my brain just did? I was thinking of the glassmakers for a second. It's like
They are the glassmakers, but if you look, that's her maiden name.
he kind of
Lie anyway.
Oh yeah, I remember they had some type of dealing with them as well. Yeah, I mean they would have. They dealt in a lot of magical tinctures and such. It's a true shame. Who did you lose? A mother, a father, brother?
Grandmother and some more distant relatives.
Oh, I see. Well, my condolences. I'm sorry to say, but I don't believe the Lord's light has shone on that estate for a long time.
You, assuming that you were already in this area when the events transpired there 2 decades ago, do you remember anything about the night of the event when everyone apparently disappeared?
Well, it is hard to forget a night like that, frankly. Many a carriage came through the town. People were excited. You know, they offered their services to many of the carriage riders and attendants that had come. The inns were full. People were starting to give out their homes, charging exorbitant rates, a gold piece sometimes at a time. But that night,
Sounds about right.
it was a sad occasion. As you know, the lady of the estate had died just a little while before. Well, it seemed just like a little while. Years, I suppose. And the night of this supposedly joyous event, why, all of us in the village were also celebrating a separate kind of event. We had brought out cheese wheels, bread and wine for the attendants. And as we were celebrating, suddenly we heard a massive... Well, it was hard to describe. It sounded like a booming. At first I thought that the Morning Lord himself had angrily shouted down from the heavens. And then I thought that it had potentially maybe triggered a sigil from the wall. Something that, you know, the damnable druids had left behind perhaps upon this land, that a child had wandered into the field and forever lost its life there. But no, after this terrible booming, this unearthly sound riveted through all of us, he checked up on the house. And there was no one. Nobody.
Not a soul, no bodies, no corpses of any kind?
No, there are a couple of the attendants, some of the guards, and, well, the carriage riders. They did want to check up, and they did find some. They carried a few bodies out of the building that day, but nowhere near enough to account for everyone that had attended. We still believe to this day that something foul, something nefarious happened that day. It must have been an attack against the Lord himself. He did a lot of good work for the crown, and it must have been an attack by the many insidiously rebellious elements of the former Elven Kingdom. This is the only explanation, really. I'm sorry for the loss that you experienced that day, maybe before your time. Though you seem like you're not that young of a bloke yourself either.
I was in medical school at the time.
Oh. Very well, very well. Make me an insight check.
He doesn't
I don't
believe
have a
in
clue.
science.
I don't have a clue.
Yes. So, are you going to come by the church tomorrow at sunrise? It's a good time to get to meet people and learn about the town that you might one day potentially call your own as future lord.
I think it might be worthwhile to stop by, although I have no interest in being a lord of any kind. I'm looking for information on the happenings of that night, trying to piece together what happened to my family and
An inquisitive mind
others.
without ambition. I've not seen that many times before, I must admit. But it is refreshing, regardless. Do you have a company leader? I don't... Forgive, I don't know the terms of freebooters and mercenaries such as yourself. Who is leading? I'm guessing a contingent of yours or whatever?
I don't know that there's anything official amongst us, but in this particular case, I am sort of acting in that capacity only because I'm the most familiar with the history of this place.
Interesting. Forgive my prying. Forgive an old priest's inquisitive old nature, for my ambition is maybe a bit more laid bare than your own. I'm quite curious, you see. Oh, and I forget. My name is Father Frank. What is yours?
You may call me Brock.
Well met, well met. Brock, if you do not seek lordship, you must be aware that the crown is going to afford the lordship to one of your own, one way or another. A person who will collect taxes, who will get a cut of the tithes that the church here collects. If it is not you, then, though you are the leader of your group of do-gooders for the crown, who will it be? What can you tell me of them? For the sake of my town, I simply must know.
I think the most likely to want to actually handle the politics, probably my friend Marcus, although he's also something of a free spirit, so I don't know if he'd want to be tied down for very long in that way. But
Marcus.
the others...
Is that by chance the man who has been drawing quite a bit of attention to himself in the tavern as of late? It seems that many a damsel within the town has laid an eye upon this well-equipped man.
That sounds about right.
Oh. Free spirit, you say? I was really hoping that the next lord or lady of our little commune would be a bit more on the conservative side of things, saw the true value of the teachings of the crown. Is that maybe a runner-up?
It's hard to say. The rest of them all seem to have their own motivations. I think most of, if not all of them, would enjoy the perks that come with being a local lord as such, but I don't know that any of them would have the interest in actually running the land, running the business of the area, dealing with the taxation and such. They all seem to have their own motivations to do the things they do.
So, it seems to me that you have a keen mind, and maybe I am a little forward in my assessment in this. I apologize. But it seems to me that the group that you've brought here are plunderers. Individuals seeking the treasures of an ancient corpse of a house. Yet your mind seems to be rational, keen, focused. Why is it that you do not seek lordship yourself?
I'm already in the beginning of my 5th decade.
Oh, the best decade in my opinion. I do miss it.
They say it's the new 40, but
I mean, truly it is the 120 in peasant years.
yes, I've had a career as a surgeon. Spent the last few years working as something of a monster hunter for the crown. I think when I retire from that, I'd like to go back to practicing medicine.
What is it that you seek in your, well, the luxury of having a retirement? To do this science, this medicine of yours? Or is that how you see yourself living the dusk of your year, of your life?
I do what I do to help people.
Well,
I'd like to continue doing that.
as someone who does receive the Sun Lord's blessing, of course, it is quite wonderful to feel his warm embrace even in the darkest of night. And you see him kind of look towards the west as the sun is hanging real low now. And understand that your medicine can be a helpful tool in supplementing these powers that the Sun Lord provides. Maybe you could find your future in aid here. Maybe this is the place where you could do this. Work as a surgeon, as you call it, a medical practitioner, helping people, the poor, the peasants, that you are sworn to protect as Lord.
I suppose that's not impossible. It's something I hadn't really considered. And just so you know, I find myself in no way at odds with the Sun Lord and what you and your fellows can do for the ill.
I am not an inquisitor, my young friend. No worries. I've always found it odd that someone wouldn't want to believe in the Sun Lord when he gives us warmth and light with every sunrise. Odd.
Oh, it's not for lack of belief. I'm more of an intellectual, I suppose, than faith-driven.
I see.
But it's not that I don't believe, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I view what I do as a supplement to what you can do.
Indeed.
At the very least, I'm someone that people who don't believe can turn to.
Indeed. Well, every belief comes from a foundation of doubt. Doubt, of course, the thing that gives rise to true belief. You have to doubt in the grandeur, the might, the benevolence of our Lord in order to find true belief, because belief is divorced from knowledge. Belief in its intrinsic nature has no room for intelligent research. And what is it that these city folk call it? Ah yes, empiricism. True belief comes from challenge, and I respect that even in your advanced age, you still carry that desire to try to capture the beautiful world that we have been given in numbers and drawings. I would...
Just a desire to understand.
Right, of course. It is simple, I would venture to say. Believe in the Lord and what he has given us, bestowed upon us, has blessed us with, to burn away those who do not believe or seek to end us, or would draw creatures from other worlds to destroy us, and to give warmth and succulence to those who truly believe.
Don't think that's the word you meant.
Succulence! We're gonna stick with it, damn it! Sucker! Sucker! That's the word I was looking for. God damn it.
Oh. No.
Sucker's actually the word for it. It was like, yeah, not that kind of
Yes,
sucker.
yes.
It's S-U-C-C-O-R, pretty sure.
Yeah,
Got that.
Sakor. I think.
Sakor?
That's how I've always heard it. I don't know if
That's
it's
not
right.
what it seems like. I'm just saying.
We're just gonna assume that he meant succulents, like with a T, like the plants.
Oh.
Succulent.
Would you like an aloe vera?
And there are just succulents everywhere in this town. Even though it looks like, deep medieval England, it's just succulents everywhere.
I
It's a
choose
saguaro?
to assume
Is that a saguaro?
Father Frank
Yeah.
meant succulent.
Actually, are they succulents? I'm not sure. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't even know how to speak English. Schlapp deep dop, steep dop, deep dop.
Too
That's
many
beautiful.
copyrights.
Cover it.
Yeah, you did say keen mind. I put it in the chat. Everyone took a drink.
Well, it is getting late, and I should probably see to the last flock within the church, but it was nice speaking with you, Brock. Future Lord,
You as
perhaps, of these lands. It'd be nice to continue our conversation in the morrow. I hope to see you at Mass.
I will plan on being there.
He starts ambling away from you. I'm just gonna start saying random words. I don't even care anymore. Fuck English.
Fair.
You return back to the tavern, and as you get there, you knock on the door where you know Henry and Bryn had been. There's no sign of Bryn currently, and you hear just like, yeah, we could definitely. I mean, I don't know how we could kill Brock. I mean, it's like we could probably marry. I mean, the doctor, It's just like, oh Jesus. Sun God. As you kind of like go through the door. Stepping in. Definitely not Lathander trademark. As you walk into the door, Henry turns towards you, and you definitely can tell that he's been just kind of taking sips, and there's like stuff that is just kind of like poured onto the table that is in the room, and his face is just swollen. You see there's like scratches and patches of red, very inflamed looking skin upon him.
I thought I meant sips of like alcohol, like he's like drinking like alcohol while he's brewing potions. But sure we can.
Yeah. You drank. You definitely drank. Mm-hmm.
Is he set up and doing this in the tavern part?
Nope. In the room.
Oh, okay.
Bryn in his room.
Henry, are you feeling all right?
Oh yeah, I'm good. This is how I just test the potions, which ones are good and everything. It's all good. It'll be
Did
fine in the
you,
morning.
Have a reaction to one?
One of those mushrooms just wasn't quite ripe yet, so it'll be fine in the morning. I've seen this 100 times before.
Do you have any left of the one that you ate?
Why do you want someone else to have this reaction?
No, I want to see if I can tell if you're going to die tonight or not.
Oh, yeah. I think it's that one over there. Just point to one of the mushrooms. It's like pushed off to the
Gotta
side.
make
Like
me
just
make
at
sure
random? Like
that one.
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh, yeah, you chewed it up a little too much.
Yeah. It's a mushroom. It's fine.
Oh, it looks like mushroom that has been at the bottom of like the the vegetable drawer for like 3 weeks too long. It's just kind of like weird and soggy. And
Where it starts to like seep.
Kind of melty almost.
I'll be honest. I was hoping it was one of the trippy ones, but it obviously it wasn't really a trippy one.
Well, you might want to try and brew yourself some kind of general antitoxin, or maybe something like serum of ipecac or something.
I'll be fine. I'll just power through it. It'll be fine in the morning. It'll be good.
Damon can say epicac, but I get laughed at when I say amble away. God damn it.
What?
I know
It was an ample away that we were laughing at, David. I promise you.
Love you.
All right. Brockton, you kind of try to take the lead here. Well, actually, no. Hold up. We're going to reverse that. Henry, as you try to like think of the best formula, having tried out the things, and you see Brock kind of like lay out some herbs, and you're like, oh yeah, it's nice. Oh, some dandelion. I'll give it flavor, I guess. And you kind of like put stuff together. Go ahead and make me a... Do you have proficiency in alchemy tools?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an intelligence +3 check. So flat intelligence +3. Or a total of d20 +7.
Alright. D20 +7.
Alrighty. Now, Brock, are you proficient in alchemy tools?
No, I'm proficient in herbalism kit and poisoner's kit.
Okay, I'll let you use the herbalism kit if you'd like, since the intent is still to make healing potions, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I actually have an herbalism kit. I don't have a poisoner's kit.
Perfect. Then go ahead and make me an herbalism kit check using dexterity. As you guys, Henry kind of does the measurements of exactly what percentages of what, you know, unguent you're going to throw together, and Brockton, you're trying to measure it out as best as you can without a scale, trying to eyeball it at the same time, also kind of like feel it, weigh it with that silver dagger of yours, kind of pouring it into places.
Wait. Okay, hold on. It didn't add my proficiency bonus for some reason. So 13.
Was that okay? With 13. All right. You guys use some of the things, you know, the glass vials that you had been given as you kind of like makeshift create some fires underneath that. Do you actually have an alchemist kit, Henry, or just proficiency?
I did in like D&D Beyond, but I don't see it on my sheet, so...
Should have just direct imported it. So if I go down here... In any case, you kind of makeshift do as best as you can. And you make 2 tinctures that, as best as you can tell and hope, are 2 potions of healing. This is relatively late into the night as you guys kind of distill it down. As you hear footsteps kind of poof, 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 come up. However, we're going to swivel away. Bryn, you got the basic things that you need in order to summon forth and create the thing that you need, but you still need something that you can burn it within. Usually there's a brass brazier, not a brazier, that you that you can use. Hey, I learn English 1 session at a time, all right?
Brass brazier is Princess Leia at the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so how do you solve that problem creatively, Bryn? And where do you do your ritual? You get enough for 1 casting.
Yeah. I mean, what really qualifies as a brazier? What if I just find like a brass bowl and just set everything on fire in there?
All right, so you head into the tavern. You see Marcus has multiple lasses hanging off of his arms as you kind of approach the tavern keep again. What do you want?
Do you have a brass bowl or a brass cup or like a brass plate? Anything brass?
I mean, we've got some brass and copper mugs for crown mules, yeah.
Perfect. I would like 1 mule without the mule, please. Thank you.
Still gonna cost you the same.
For just a cup?
I'll get it. Don't worry.
Hey, we're getting the cup back. You're gonna have to leave something behind. Just so you bring the cup back.
Let me rifle through my bag real quick.
Fantasy IDs, they have to be invented.
Like, no, I need that. I pull out a skull. No, I need that.
Marcus will take off his own Dimitrikov signet ring and slide it over.
That'll do.
And I'm staying here, so I will keep an eye on that. Don't put it in your pocket. I'd like to see it. That is a family ring. Thank
He
you.
put it in his mouth. That's
I
gross.
Definitely bet it.
Says you!
I want to see the cup back. In one piece.
Who
I don't know what
steals a cup? Who hurt you?
Bryn, make me a perception check. You look across the man, and maybe it is because you're hoping that he's going to have a cardiac arrest soon. You kind of look upon some of the carotid artery, kind of like the just the musculature generally around the neckline, and this man definitely
I just
has
see his jugular just boom, 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 boom.
a little bit of drool. You kind of put it back in your mouth, but as you suddenly turn into a Dhampir for some reason, as you look upon the man, like he's pretty beefy. He stands like easily 6 feet tall, and you see like a thick, broad neck, broad shoulders that have kind of just turned into like this kind of like heavy set. Like, yeah, he has some heft to him, and there's definitely like a layer of fat, but it's all solid muscle underneath. Like it's one of those guys. And as you look at the tavern keep, you also see thin, incredibly thin, precise scars now kind of shining through. They have mostly healed over a long period of time. And you, of all people, would realize these were made by elven weaponry. The crown has never created anything that sharp.
Oh. So he's racist.
So when you say who hurt you, he just gets real quiet and looks pretty hard at you. Here's your cup. I still want a silver for that.
Alright, here. Still making change out of his copper piece. Because he's got only gold on him, so...
Oh my god.
I know.
What could this banana cost? 7 gold pieces? Okay.
It can't cost that much. Alright.
Kind of takes
Eggs are about a gold piece apiece now, so why not bananas?
Yeah, right. He just gives you a hard look, Bryn, as you kind of walk away.
Well, thanks, bye.
Where do you go? Where do you go do your thing?
Go to my room. Duh. When you're gonna burn stuff, you do it in private.
You go in, and Henry's in there. He definitely looks like he's some kind of antihistamine reaction, or a histamine reaction, I should say. And Brockness just very concerned, kind of looking in. As you can see, they're bubbling very slowly, some kind of a tincture, and you hear like,
yeah, we're definitely fucking killing Bryn. Like, whatever it's with, like, so how are we gonna kill Bryn? It's just, I don't.
I listen. It's unsurprising. I don't care anymore.
how they've been talking about fuck, marry, kill for this long, nobody knows.
Although, if Bryn didn't hate us, behind those glasses, that necromancy stuff, a little bit intriguing, no?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
No.
No?
No.
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 I yell through the wall. No.
Yeah.
We're talking in our heads, damn it.
Did I do that thing where I talk out loud again? Oh shit.
Oh, shit.
Sorry. It just sometimes it happens. I just anyway.
I messaged Celine. In your head, no.
You have to speak to message me.
That's not true.
You have to speak to message me.
That's not true.
You have to speak to message me. 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 You have to speak to Damn it.
I know magic better than you.
Kill. My original plan.
Well, level 9 disintegrate. One day.
Or we get a whole bunch of corpses. We raise them all. He can do nothing. Whole person paralyzed.
Yes.
Itching to raise them all. We raise them all as our minions.
And then they
Yes.
do the.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh, I
Yes.
love it.
And he could just
Oh, you're so
watch.
bad, CC. You're so bad. I love it.
Crazy. So
I had
crazy
a
that
moment.
when you're strong enough to raise that many people, a necromancer is strong enough to take control of other people's undead minions.
Well, did
You
you hear
hear
something?
anything?
No,
I
I didn't.
don't.
That's very strange.
Yes.
If I did hear something, I'd have to put it
Yes.
down like a
Right.
lame horse.
Right.
Henry, are
Anyway.
you like mid transformation?
Anaphylactic shock, you know.
I mean, that should be. I've been trying to brew that somehow, like like just brew a potion that would just like allow me to turn into that, but I haven't quite nailed it down quite yet. Maybe one day.
I mean, you just look round.
I ate some bad shrooms, man. Just comes down to it. The shrooms weren't good. This'll be fine in the morning.
I have a quick story that I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh no.
Many
I'm
a
so
parent will
scared.
probably feel will identify with this. So we call our little 10-month-old Chubby baby. Our 5-year-old came up to me one day with a little bit of the panza that I carry because I've got a dad bod, and she goes, "Oh, Chubby Papa." So you calling people, you look a little round. I immediately thought to that. That's right. Story time with David. Children, you love them.
I love it.
Well, don't mind me. I'm just gonna go into the corner and set some stuff on fire real quick. It'll only take like an hour.
Tyler,
fun.
why
So,
do you
yeah.
always do that in each campaign?
It's just fun, okay? I have to get my pyromania out somehow, okay? This is my outlet.
That's valid. Yeah.
Much more legal too. That's fine. Yeah.
You have fun with that, I would say just don't burn the place down because we can't afford that yet. I mean, maybe once we get like the lordship title, then you could burn it down all you want. Really, you could just.
You know what? I probably will.
That's what I've been saying all along. We should do that.
That bartender guy, he was kind of an asshole. He was mean to me, and he was all creepy with Celine, which I don't like Celine, but like, it was gross. And
I don't like Celine, but
Yeah.
How could you not like Celine? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate.
Oh my god. I don't know if I heard it correctly because it's, from beyond a wall,
I
but
think we did.
I think I heard.
I just I
Lovely.
don't mesh well with narcissistic personalities is all. Nothing against her.
Who doesn't mess well with narcissistic personalities? That's wild
I don't even know
claim.
what they're talking about.
First of all, wild.
They probably can't even spell narcissistic, really, if you think about it.
I just realized I don't even know how to spell narcissism. Isn't that
You don't need to
strange?
spell when you look like us.
Oh, that's right.
Who the fuck is going to ask us to spell anything? Like, spell I'm gorgeous. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. You're so
Ridiculous.
smart, CC. I know how to spell CC.
Doesn't matter.
Never mind,
you're
it's not
gorgeous.
important.
Who
It's not
cares?
important.
Exactly.
But yeah. Anyway, it's still creepy. I don't like creepy people either. And it was creepy. He was like basically drooling.
Said the necromancer. I don't like creepy people.
There's different types of creepy, okay?
Yep.
I mean, he didn't have the best vibes in the world, but every time I went down and got some of the beer, he gave me a look like, hey, but isn't that, 5 too many, right? I
Am
understand.
I hallucinating? Is it the fumes?
Oh no, the mushrooms.
Alex, he just became a little robotic because of connection issues. But I'm just saying it's because of the shrooms. Suddenly he's just like slurring his words, like, I mean,
I open a window. You're supposed to do this with proper ventilation.
I'll never recover from that one.
Oh man.
But yeah, I just sit in the corner and set stuff on fire, as one does.
You guys hear the doof, 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 what sounds like Marcus probably opening the door and closing it to one of the rooms adjacent to you guys. As Bryn, you sit down with your little crown mule cup, sitting down. You pour in a bunch of the things that you need in order to cast your spell. As you light it on fire with magic means, immediately smoke starts to surround, and you're taken back to a grove where you sat cross-legged, where you saw a field of bones in this little, hole in the ground that moss had grown over. Bones and bones and bones filled it. You remember that time years ago now, when you had come across one of these mounds, one of these dead places of your people, when many of them had chosen to take their own life rather than to succumb to the crown. As you sit there cross-legged, you remember that time, stepping into that, trying for the first time to use your necromantic powers to demand that the bones do as you will. And you raised some small ones, tiny little, you thought maybe fragments of bone at first, or maybe a meal of an owl or something, but as they started to kind of put themselves together, what does your familiar look like, Bryn?
He looks like what type of cat would it be? Maybe like a sphinx, because they're already kind of creepy with the hairlessness, but it also doesn't have skin or internal organs or musculature because it's just a skeleton.
And as those pieces kind of fly together, there's a fantastic comic book series, or not comic book, but comic series of like essentially animals talking to their spirit versions. It's fantastic. Look it up online. You'll see it. It's great. But it kind of almost seems to look like that, where the bones kind of put themselves together, and you see the ectoplasmic outline. You see the spirit form of the cat that it once was. It's kind of like steps forward, even in its hairlessness. Must have been maybe the pet, or maybe a druid transformed something of the circle that took their own life in this hole. As the cat jumps upon your lap, you don't feel any of the spirit actually touch upon you, but rather the bones kind of press into your lap. That same scene repeating itself once again this evening as your cat, undead familiar, jumps upon your lap. It looks up towards you expectantly, kind of looks over its shoulder, almost judgingly towards the others, and then back towards you and cocks its head to the side, almost as if to say, "Really?"
I just give him little scritches.
And you guys hear the kind of disconcerting sound.
Yeah, it
of
sounds awful. It's like
nails on bone.
Henry, do you have let's see. Do you have any leftover mushrooms?
Yeah, there's some in the corner over there. I don't really know what mushrooms they are, to be honest. But
That's okay. He's already dead, and I just grab a little piece of mushroom and I give it.
The cat kind of smells and seems to kind of move away, and then look up towards you. and it kind of just starts to paw at the mushroom, and then just starts chasing it around the room. The kind of rattling of bones against the floorboards as the mushroom cascades from corner to corner. And you, Sebastian and Celine, hear that in the other room, something small kind of chasing something around. Have you ever heard a cat have the zoomies? It's the fucking weirdest sound. It's like back and forth in the other
Oh,
room.
wow. Do you think we should check on that?
Rust
What?
monsters?
Well, now we have to go check on it. I want one. I'm gonna burst out of the room and burst into the other room.
The cat kind of
Hello?
stops in mid-play as the mushroom kind of slouches over to the side as the cat's like, and you see
Are we
a skeletal
sharing?
cat with like what seems like a slightly visible translucent outline of what once was the actual skin and flesh, but not actually there, kind of look up at you.
That's positively horrifying. Oh, it's... Hello, kitty. Hello. Oh, that's all right. You too. Anyway, are you sharing? Are you sharing, are you sharing the mushrooms? Because I could take one off your hand.
Just like peeking over his shoulder.
That's up to Henry.
Yeah, that's fine. Here you go. Any extras, I'll hand them over.
Thank you. Grab one for me, and I'll grab one, a whole one for Celine as well. Back out of the room. Nobody's gonna stop me from taking two. All right, go rush back into the other room.
Why did we leave the party?
Wait, you know,
was right over your
you know-
shoulder this entire time. Then you're like,
oh shit! Oh my goodness! Whoa! I didn't
Yes.
know you were there. Should we just stay
No.
here?
Yes.
Oh, good idea. You know, I've been known to have panic attacks whenever, I indulge in such things, so it's
Right.
good. It's good.
But if you're feeling like you'll have a panic attack, let me know.
I
you
will,
know,
of
but-
course.
Otherwise,
Bottoms up.
already. Sebastian, I will need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Yay.
Celine, it's a little wetter and moister than you would have liked it to be, but it's not bad. If you like mushrooms, Celine, it's not bad.
Tyler's reaction to that description was
Oh no.
and not. I don't know why I looked right at Tyler, but I did, and it was fucking amazing.
Don't. That's my advice. Do not look at Tyler when you say something.
It was
weird.
just so good.
Anyways,
Or
tell us more
my
about this
personal
moist
favorite.
mushroom.
My personal favorite is to DM things to Tyler to make him make expressions on camera.
That's true.
That's what I
That's
like.
true.
Oh my gosh, that was please, guys, please clip that. Somebody, please. Oh, it was so good. I
Sebastian.
don't even know what was just said.
As you guys keep talking, you just
So
feel like
shook.
you're just scratching at your throat. You're mm-hmm. Uh-huh. What's your remark? Oh. And just like Henry's is starting to kind of abate down and just kind of like become a little bit less. His face is slightly less engorged than it was before. Sebastian, however, is now starting to make up for this as his face is starting to fill out the very Zoolander. Oh yes, Vogue. Kind of like muscle or like bone structure starting to actually completely fill out. Mm-hmm.
Sebastian, are you dying?
Hopefully. No, I'm just kidding. Probably not.
Not again.
This isn't exactly what I had in mind for these mushrooms. Interesting. I'm gonna look around the room. Is anything becoming psychedelic? Or am I just having an allergic reaction?
Just an allergic reaction.
Oh dear God. Well,
This
I
is
don't have
fun.
any-
You'll
This
be
is-
fine in the morning. It's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's happened to me as well. But you could barely even tell now. It's fine. Just give it a few hours. Sleep it off. You'll be good in the morning. It makes your gut stronger the next day. Really.
Probiotic.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Brock's
oh,
just kind of sitting here looking around, thinking to himself, I wonder if that other party could use me and Marcus.
well, I think I'm going to go
Honestly,
to
that's-
bed now. This was a great experience, but I think it's working its way to my stomach, and I think I might have an oopsie emergency. So I'm going to be going now. I'm gonna run off
You
to
know,
my room.
physiologically speaking, it only takes about 7 seconds for it to make it to your stomach, so...
But I think the oopsie emergency already
Suddenly.
happened.
Unimaginable, horrific noises echo from the other room. Unimaginable, unspeakable. Hey, this is not trademarkable by WotC. I'm pretty sure they're not okay with this.
Into the chamber pot.
It still counts. Drink.
Straight into the chamber pot.
What is even happening right now?
We're only on 6 so far. That's not bad.
Yep. Well, I'm out of the story for the night.
Marcus will be getting his ring back as soon as Bryn. Like, Marcus will probably knock on the door.
Yeah.
Do you have the cup back? I do need my ring back.
It's like scorched on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen like a Roman candle or something like that? After you fire it off, on the inside it's just like blackened and burned.
Or just like the inside of an actual candle after you've burned it down.
Prestidigitation. And if that doesn't fix it, mending.
As you sit there, you put like magical elbow grease into cleaning the fucking cup.
Walks.
Contact with Bryn the whole time. The
I'm just
maid
playing with my
outfit
cat.
just like tantalizingly flying above Marcus's head in his mind. God damn it.
I'm doing that thing that I hate where people grab their cat's paws and they're like, "You're dancing, you're dancing."
It's a disgusting dancing.
You know who else hates that? The cat.
Yeah.
The sounds of the magical cleaning combined with a from the other room with a meow just carry out the rest of this evening. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to discuss and or accomplish? Otherwise, we will skip to the next morning.
I think the only thing I wanted to do was just like skim through the book some more to see if I could glean any more information about like what he could have been possibly trying to do, or if there was a specific sigil combination that we saw on the wall, anything like that.
The book is so dense and written in just weird poetic staccato. It's just, I mean, you heard me read the one page to you guys, and kind of Bryn goes through, then he understands, he reads between the lines, but it's like, essentially, it will open up certain understandings of how transplanar travel functions, but it'll be very situational, so you might be able to use that as almost like a reference material to do that, but it doesn't give you an insight into what Darius himself was planning, because he obviously came years afterwards and he just tore the one page out of the book. The book goes into a lot of different things. It starts talking about Eder caps and red caps and some caps. There's like a lot of caps in there. It's weird within the section of the Feywild, but there's, generally speaking, a lot of superfluous language that makes it actually really hard to try to get through quickly.
I think eventually it just kind of devolves into I'm just looking for pictures.
Yeah.
and it gets to that point. Have you ever been like reading a book and you kind of zone out and you read an entire page and then completely forget the entire page that you read?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Well, grad school.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what happens, and then I just like throw it behind me on the bed.
All right, and so the split is Marcus Brockton, Bryn Henry, Sebastien, and Celine.
I think so. Yeah.
Or if you guys want to sleep it all in the same room, it doesn't really matter. All right.
And Ricketts. His name is Ricketts. That's my cat.
Ricketts is there as well. With that, everyone gets a long rest then. Go ahead.
Oh my god, Marcus, you're not dying anymore.
I'm not dying.
Just from sleeping. That's so weird.
Amazing.
How does that work? Oh, I don't know how difficult it's going to be, but I do want to change out a cantrip with my cantrip.
Oh, and from the optional
Whoa.
features that gives it to you at level... You have that now, right? Level 5, you can switch
Yeah,
it
it's
on
a
long
third
rest.
level thing.
What
Yeah.
spell? So message me that stuff. I'll get it done separately. And while he does that, fun facts about Pathfinder, trademark Paizo, not trademark WotC, is that there's an optional rule for Pathfinder where you can actually have stamina points like in Starfinder, which is also copyright of Paizo as well, which Paizo, of course, again, is not owned by WotC, which is nice. So the stamina rules are really fun, which would make it just so much more exciting to play with stamina instead of HP. You better get more. I cracked my fingers. We're
Please.
going.
Please, no. No more.
All right. It is the morning. As part of the room and board, you are being given a meager meal in the morning. It's essentially like some oats. You're getting one egg with that on the side as you guys kind of like, they're like, do you want to have that mixed up into one? Well, a lot of people like that special, they call it the Lord's breakfast because it looks like the sun is within the valley.
Yes, it's quaint. Yes, I'll do just that. Thank you.
Right. The Lord's breakfast coming right up, and he kind of sets down the bowls, and you see him kind of like almost like being shy. From a benefactor, here you go. And Celine, as the bowl gets set before you, you see thick slices of succulent bacon, kind of like layered inside of the bowl as well. Something that would be
Plant-based bacon.
pretty expensive.
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna glance over to Sebastian's bowl. Does he have thick
Sad.
layers of bacon also?
No, sad.
Bad. Oh my god.
I'm going to
You
give
know-
him almost all of my bacon. I'll save one piece, but I'm going to give him all of the rest of it.
Make me a perception check.
Me?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a great decision. As you guys finish your breakfast, do you still intend on going to the church, Brock, or are you going to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said I would go. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna tell everybody else. And if they want to come with, they're welcome to.
I'm okay.
I think I'm going to eat this and head back to bed for another bit.
To the what? To the church?
Yes.
Oh. I'll go.
Mostly playing nice with the local priest.
I couldn't possibly eat another bite. Is there anyone who wants this last piece of delicious bacon? I'll just stare at Henry. Anyone?
Oh,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Whoa.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah.
what is the code here?
What?
What
I'm
could
gonna sit down.
what could bacon possibly mean in this scenario?
It just means bacon, David.
Oh, sorry.
God.
I've been reading too much Wimpton.
No.
What bad-
no.
Wallop.
No.
Walton.
Am I suddenly wearing tight leather armor? What's
Yeah!
happening?
God damn it.
I just assumed you were from Go.
Oh, sure.
What
Anyway,
is Celine's armor? Oh, no. Mm-mm. A very loose-fitting breastplate. Hangs off. Poorly fitted.
oh yes.
Well, I'm wearing studded leather.
Tight.
I am.
Yep.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It has a
is
lot
anybody
of
else?
buckles, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's... Okay, anyway. Anyone else going to the church, or is it just Brock and Celine?
No.
The twins are separating? Drama.
Well, CC,
Drama.
because otherwise, I think I ought to stay here with, and I'm gonna indicate back to Marcus.
Of course you should, and make sure doesn't make another move on my fucking man.
Roger that, Cece. Roger that.
Love you. All right.
Love you.
Alrighty. You guys set off. You head to the church and you see that Mass is already underway. You see quite a few people sitting in the pews. Overall, they're maybe at 80% or so capacity. You sit down and, the droning goes on and on about, the Sun Lord this, the crown that, blah, 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 blah. And afterwards, you do see that there's like some nice little, baked goods. It seems like somebody made some, it's not quite good as cake, but like some pies that are kind of hanging out, some apple pies that have been kind of set out for people to enjoy after Mass. And as you're being offered some, and Celine, it seems that you will refuse some of these apple pies. Brockton, you may get some. The same priest, Father Frank, once again comes up.
You came. Wonderful. And will this be the future lady of the estate?
If by lady you mean Lady Lord, possibly. If by lady you
Celine.
mean my missus, no.
Pleasure.
Well met, well met. You have a radiance about you.
Oh, so kind of you to say so.
Of course. We are trained, of course, in the capital to keep an eye on those who have been divinely blessed. You seem to have the glow of divinity about you. Yes?
Oh, yes.
You're quite blessed to be around a creature of, a divine-touched being like herself, Brock and Celine. So, will you share the lord and ladyship then? In holy matrimony under the Sun Lord's blessing, of course.
What?
Oh, are you going to be the betrothed? Are you the current betrothed of this Brock here?
No.
Oh.
She would not stoop so low.
Oh.
Aw.
Oh, you're selling yourself short. Yeah. Celine, though, from where do you hail?
Oh, it's, too far to the... I think it's east?
Oh,
Far to the east.
yes, navigation
Yes.
cartography can be a challenge. Towards the sun or away from the sun?
Away from the sun.
Oh, shame, really. Well, it would be an honor to perhaps get to know you a bit better. Apologies, I'm otherwise needed at the moment to have to tend to my flock, but perhaps we can speak sometime. It seems that Brock has said that many of his compatriots are not interested in taking the title of Lord or Lady of the estate, but we would consider ourselves blessed to have an Azimar such as yourself be the future lady of the Raventree Manor.
I'll look at Brock. What's his reaction to that?
He's a little bit bored with the concept in general. Like, he got grilled about this last night, and so he's just kind of like, whatever.
I really think that should be up to the doctor here, Lord Doctor.
Doctor is sufficient.
Ah, yes.
Doctor.
Do you prescribe to this science as well?
Well, he's very, very talented. I think it's something we should be open-minded about. Do you know?
Yes, of course. Pray tell, do you come from noble stock, Lady Celine?
Gosh, this is difficult. No.
Oh,
No.
matter
Not
not. That
really,
is the
no.
opportunity, of course, that the crown has provided you with to start your own line of young ones running around bringing laughter and cheer into your life. Of course, you want to ensure that unlike the Kadavar's family, you produce enough progeny and offspring that should some of them die, there's still enough to carry on. So we usually tend to, persuade young ladies such as yourself to carry at least 5 children to ensure the progeny will carry on in the future. Do try to aim for, well, men carry the name of a family. You will be the first, of course, in the line, and you will carry whatever name you will marry into. Brock here comes from a well-recognized family name. He would make a good familial partner. But if you seek any further advice in your future estate building, you know where to find me in my humble abode under the Lord's shine. It was a pleasure meeting you. Father Frank is the name. I apologize. How rude of me.
As he then just kind of ambles away.
Well, I'm so glad I came. We're going to stay a long time, do you think, or?
Jack, that's right there. That's the one. I'm pretty sure it's her. Yo.
Absolutely not.
She's
Out we
going
go.
to... You there, Leslie! You!
I'm gonna dip behind something and disguise self.
What do you look like?
I'm gonna look like a normal old ass villager with a hood, nothing to see
Generic
here.
villager too.
Generic, yeah. Mhm.
Well, hello, adventurer. I used to be an adventurer just like yourself, and then it took 5 children to the womb. So, as you guys filter out of the church...
Wow.
As
Why
you
am I always pregnant in every scenario?
That took a hard left.
What's happening?
I just had
Yeah.
I just had to make fun of myself for that one of that fucking NPC because that would do it. But as you guys leave the church, there are some people who kind of like. It's weird. It's definitely a strange or dangerous situation where some people are nice to Brock, some people kind of give you guys kind of like sideways glances. When you actively just do magic behind a pew, people are like, oh. She's like, where'd she go? As you see the puppy chow lady just starting to look around for you. You ultimately meet up with the rest of the people at the tavern. Anything else that you guys seek to do before you set out for, well, your way to the house? Also, who gets the healing potions, by the way?
He would have given one to Celine. He would have, and then one to Marcus. He would have been. He probably would have given the one to Celine first. But like, here, I brewed this for you last night, and give it to her, and then given the one to Marcus and be like, here, you really needed this yesterday.
Henry, you play.
You made this with my blood?
I mean, yes, yeah, I did. Yeah, it was your blood. So, I mean, I think it turned out good, though. It was very solid.
Is this a form of cannibalism when I drink?
I mean, it's like if you bite your lip, you'd like drink your own blood sometimes, right? Like, so, like, that's not cannibalism. So,
okay.
Or is it and we just don't recognize it?
I mean, that's fair too. Like, if like you're gonna be turned into a vampire and then you just like save your blood for an entire year and drink that, would that be cannibalism then? Like,
No.
yeah, I
No,
think
you're
that's just like
wise.
ahead, like thinking ahead, right? Planning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Indeed.
never mind. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Holy.
I'm gonna look at
With the voice,
Sebastian.
they're like,
All right. With that, you guys set out from the village for the second time in 24 hours and head back through the woods.
Did we run into the other adventurers at all?
Make me a survival check, Marcus.
Oh boy, why did I have to ask that question?
Oh, that's not bad.
The high moisture within the air here just keeps the almost swamp-like mud, pretty well preserved. It hasn't rained overnight, so a lot of the stuff is still very easily visible and trackable, and you can see a set of 6 boots having trudged through this heavy mud path through the woods and up towards the estate. So it seems like they went through here probably last evening and then into the house from there.
Alright.
Maybe
Oh,
they're dead.
They're dead. So dead. I was
Yeah.
just thinking the same thing.
Oh my goodness, we agreed on something finally. We could take their items, you know.
That's true. If they had any, I don't know if they did.
I mean, they probably do. I mean, I think
You'll
I
finally
saw.
get your corpse.
I know. God, 3 of them.
Look at that. Wow. We're all winning.
Congrats.
Now I just have to learn the spell that makes it useful.
Yeah, What were you planning on doing with my corpse? Never mind, don't actually answer that. I do not
I was
want to
just
know.
gonna keep it until a time when I
said
could
didn't
use
want
it.
to know.
Not to
I mean,
take away from you, Bryn, because this is definitely your thing. But I think with a little bit more study, I could do it, without a spell. Inherently,
Oh.
You know, Warlock's magic isn't inherent, right? It's given to them by someone else through a pact where they've sold a part of their soul or made a deal with another god.
What are you talking about? Warlock, I don't know this business. Get out of here. Go look at your book, little boy.
I don't know. Sounds like an identity crisis to me.
I mean, even that doesn't sound too bad. It's better than having to read it and study it and that.
Right?
and
So
then-
could you imagine all the time wasted?
No.
Knowledge is hard.
Reading and not really gaining anything worth knowing.
Although those spells that you found in those scrolls, what will you do with those?
I don't know. Maybe read them, learn them, be able to use them.
Rock, is it too soon? Would it be frowned upon if I started drinking now?
I join you.
I agree as
How
well.
is
We
wine
should start
flask?
drinking right now.
Cheers.
It's been theorized if you drink enough and then expose yourself to loud noise repeatedly that you'll go deaf. So,
All right, fine. I'm sorry, Bryn. I will stop with the digs. We can be friends. My
Is that
olive
true?
branch is extended to you.
You can really drink and then go deaf if you listen to loud noises? Is that really true?
Wait, I just
ask Pete
said
Townsend.
olive branch.
I mean, just listening to loud
No, I
noise.
heard you. I heard
yes. Being drunk makes it worse.
you. Celine?
I said it. I feel like that was
Bryn?
very big of me.
Bryn?
You
Yes, no,
nobody
Celine,
noticed.
I applaud you. I am
you,
so
Marcus.
proud of you. Oh, I
Thank
didn't
you.
think that was...
I learned my
Right.
graciousness from my beautiful brother.
Well, it's not always obvious, but it's true. I am gracious. That is all.
Anyways.
Bryn? Although...
What? What did I do?
Olive branch?
Oh, right.
None of these trees are olive trees.
Oh dear.
I only had a bone. I feel like a bone would be the best thing to extend to you, but I don't have one.
Oh,
So
actually,
put it
You
on
have
pause.
There's
Do you have
actually how many bones are in the human body?
how did you sneak the cat out of the tavern, or is it in the room
It's like
still?
203, right?
106.
Oh, okay.
You can't
What?
have one of mine. I need them.
What about my cat?
How did you? Is it with us? Did you sneak it out of the tavern? Is it
Yeah,
like
it's just-
in?
Sitting on my shoulder.
As you look upon it, there's definitely no cat, but then suddenly it's almost like it steps out of like thin air, and you see the bones, and the spirit kind of like reappears. It just appears upon there.
Thank God. The last thing we need is the crown on us for you and your.
It's a cat, Marcus. You could just call it a cat.
That. What was a cat? I don't know what it is now, but
It's still a cat. When you die, you're still a person. You're just dead.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I figured I should mention. Horrifyingly beautiful, but it's one of the, I guess, the wonderful things that you can do.
Brockton, I don't know if it's a compliment anymore that he might find me attractive. I've seen the things that he likes.
Marcus, are the twins being friends with me? I don't know how to handle this.
I think she's trying to be. Though so far your reaction has been very poor.
I don't social.
That's obvious.
Yes.
Do you actually have wine, or were you just being hypothetical? Because
Oh, no, I definitely do. Definitely takes a swig and hands it to Brock.
As you guys, after another hour of trudging, get to the house, once again, the gate itself is open as you step through. You see the front doors, both have been kind of left open. And you guys kind of step towards
Raised in
it
a barn.
as Bryn
Can't believe
shakes his head in disdain. Suddenly there's a what seems like a rocking, a magical expulsion of force, and a scream of pain from the second story of the house. And that is where we're going to leave it for this week's session.
If they're casting fireballs in this house after I already said we're not casting fireballs in this house.
Taking a long rest. Whew. Alrighty, y'all. A lot came out about the characters today. I mean, that was nice to see. Though, of course, now you have a second group that is going to start to explore and maybe loot the house for all that it's worth.
Until
Kill them
we
and
kill
take
them.
their stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Or they do the same. Can't wait. Anyways, everyone who has been tuning in, thank you guys so much for watching. A House Divided is a fantastically pre-made thing by Foundry VTT. However, we took a detour today, and you know what? Sometimes as a GM, it's super fun to see that stuff. See how they... I can't say Dungeon Master because that's obviously trademarked by WotC, and I just want to throw it out that, of course, it is a Game Master thing today, you know, which anyone can use without copyright. So anyway, as we're going to pick it up again next week, you guys will get to see once again the beautiful art, the beautiful detail that has just gone into that, and hopefully explore more of the intricacies of Brockton's family, or maybe just more about the YA that this is potentially turning into. Stay tuned.
And now we have a cat.
Yeah,
now we have a cat.
You have to have. Yeah. You have to have the. I would say you have to have the comedic relief, but it's like, you know, do you need the comedic relief on top of the comedic relief? I don't know. It's good though. It is good though. Anyway, we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. We're always on at 9 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. See you guys next week.